One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry.
Good. And thank you all. It's good to be back in Pennsylvania. I hear Scranton is sleepy Joe Biden's hometown. But as far as I can tell, this is Trump country. Pennsylvanians elected President Trump for a second term because they had had enough of a president who put America last. Biden and his auto pen were the chief architects of the worst inflation, Bidenflation, in a generation. His administration made life impossibly expensive for American families through a toxic mix of what I call the 3 I's: immigration, interest rates, and inflation. Biden's immigration free-for-all was among the greatest abuses of power ever imposed on the American people. By allowing 10 to 20 million illegal aliens into the country against the will of voters, the last administration stole both jobs and homes from American families. Home prices and rents soared as millions of illegal aliens who were never supposed to be here in the first place competed for housing. And wages cratered from the glut of new labor supply. Biden's open borders effectively created a black market in labor that kept wages for working Americans artificially suppressed.
Thousands of our own citizens suddenly found themselves out of work or working a job that barely paid the rent. At the same time, they saw their rent costs climbing higher. Why? Because they now had to compete for a limited number of homes against a seemingly unlimited number of illegals. Donald Trump stood above the endless stream of illegal immigration yelling, "Stop, stop." And this is why
Pennsylvania and Americans voted for him in a landslide. President Trump promised to secure the border and return American jobs and homes to American citizens through the largest deportation effort of the century. He has delivered on that promise in every day, every way. Common sense, simply closing the border. Our president is bringing an end to illegal wage suppression to put American workers first. And his policies are already bearing fruit. Real wages across the country are up 1% on the year, the first time in 4 years. We are witnessing a blue-collar boom with real wages for blue-collar workers under President Trump increasing at one of the fastest rates in the last half century, almost in line with his first term. Thanks to the president's efforts to clean up illegal immigration, he is fixing high home costs as well. Rents have come down significantly. Consider that the average national price of rent has decreased 5% since the peak of Biden's immigration insanity. We expect average home prices to follow suit as deportations unlock more housing supply. The second eye that made life unbearable for American families under Biden was interest rates, which climbed at an unprecedented rate while he was in office. But President Trump is fixing that too. High interest rates make life more expensive for American families, but they are coming down under President Trump. The bond market had its best year since 2020, and if I have anything to say about it, as your nation's top bond salesman, bonds will have another strong year in 2026 as we fight to bring Treasury borrowing costs down. Lower Treasury borrowing costs mean lower mortgage rates, lower car payments, and lower credit card bills, which all translates to greater buying power for all Americans. The third eye that drove the cost of living crisis under Biden was inflation. The previous administration ran up the highest deficit in U.S. history outside of a recession or wartime. As a result, inflation skyrocketed to a 40-year high. As Secretary Wright, the highest in his lifetime and my lifetime. Families watched our hard-earned savings melt away as prices of consumer goods climbed ever higher. As with immigration, the Biden administration stole from the American people through inflation. Consider that 42% of inflation under Biden was triggered by his administration's runaway deficit spending. Inflation is the ultimate stealth tax. It's the government's way of spending money it doesn't have and devaluing yours. Biden ran up America's credit card and left all of us here to foot the bill in the form of higher prices in groceries, gasoline, clothes, and other goods we depend on. This was just one more reason voters like you elected President Trump. President Trump is stamping out Bidenflation for good, and we fully expect it to roll down next year. Prices went up under Biden because his central planning policies created scarcity in nearly every sector of the economy, from housing and energy to credit and consumer goods. This made inflation even worse than it would have been as a result of deficit spending alone. But where Biden created scarcity, President Trump is creating abundance. Thanks to President Trump's efforts on deregulation, America's businesses are able to build and innovate again. Thanks to his one big beautiful bill, Americans are taking home more of their hard-earned income as a result of no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, and deductibility of auto loans for American-made cars. American-made cars. And thanks to his heroic efforts in trade, trillions of dollars in new investment have flowed into the United States, and our workers are finally able to compete on an even playing field. These policies in combination are driving a boost in production that will lower the prices of goods for all Americans in 2026 while also creating jobs and increasing incomes. This is the formula for prosperity: lowering prices, raising incomes. And every component of the Trump economic agenda is in pursuit of these twin goals. Under President Trump, scarcity is giving way to prosperity. The benefits of his agenda are now rippling through the economy, and those ripples will become waves as his agenda gathers force in 2026. President Trump has put a decisive end to the three I's. I would add a fourth one: insanity, under Joe Biden. Insanity. Our great president is ushering in a golden age economy by making America affordable again. We're grateful to have you with us, and I look forward to the president speaking to all of you this evening. It's great to be with you. Thank you.
All right, so we got lights are back on, everything's going. How you guys doing tonight? Looking forward to a fantastic evening. As we're getting closer to the 6 o'clock hour, not sure who's up next. The main feeds don't come up until the main guy comes up. So I've worked with RSBN. They let me take their feeds in and bring it for the preliminary stuff. But looks like we're going to have a full house. I don't know, I'd say about 6,000 people into this facility. But it's sure great to see President Trump back out on the road once again. And as soon as clockwork, as soon as I was talking to you guys this afternoon about watching who you follow, it started. It's already going crazy out there. I mean, people are attacking Susie Wiles. I mean, it's almost as if President Trump has no sense. You kind of get the opinion, thank you, yes, I am feeling better. You get the opinion these people think President Trump is a walking, talking zombie. He's stupid. He doesn't know anything. Everybody on X seems to know more than what President Trump knows. It's disgusting to me. Absolutely disgusting to me. So they've got a lull here. I'm not sure who's coming back up. Not sure. They don't announce him in advance. But I'm going to jump to interview I did. I had an interview down here. I hope I can get it in before President Trump comes on stage. I probably can. I had an interview. I think this would be a perfect time to show it with the mayor here in Boca Raton. And it's basically about what's going on here in Palm Beach County, where Mar-a-Lago is, where President Trump lives. I mean, tonight there's a big election in Miami, and they're thinking if it turns into a Democrat mayor, they may not be able to put his library where they want it. But we'll take it here in Palm Beach, and that's for sure. So let me jump into this. Hopefully, do I have enough time? You know what? I'm going to start showing you the other interview, the interview that President Trump did with Dasha Burns in Politico. Let's jump to that because I can clear that out at any time and jump into the show. All right, here's Dasha Burns.
Mr. President, thank you so much for joining the conversation.
Thank you.
So Politico has named you as the most influential person shaping Europe as part of our annual Politico 28 list. Past names that have topped the list include President Zelensky, Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, and President Viktor Orban. This year, Politico broke precedent to recognize an American for the first time in the history of P28. And sir, there is no question that you are having a seismic impact on the continent and its politics. One of the most pressing issues in Europe right now is the war between Russia and Ukraine. Your team has been going back and forth.
I wouldn't say one. I would say the most.
The most, you're right. Your team has been going back and forth between Putin and Zelensky with various drafts of a peace deal. Which country right now is in the stronger negotiating position?
Well, there can be no question about it. It's Russia. It's a much bigger country. It's a war that should have never happened. Frankly, it wouldn't have happened if I were president, and it didn't happen for 4 years. I watched that taking place, and I said, wow, they're going to cause some problems here. And it started, and it could have evolved into World War III, frankly. I think it's probably not going to be happening now. I think if I weren't president, you could have had World War III. I think you would have had a much bigger problem than you have right now. But right now, it's a big problem. It's a big problem for Europe, and they're not handling it well.
Last night, you said that you weren't sure if President Zelensky was fine with the most recent proposal, that he isn't ready. I was hearing from your advisors around Thanksgiving that they thought this thing might be wrapped up by the end of the holiday, but it's still not done. Is Zelensky responsible for the stalled progress, or what's going on there?
Well, he's got to read the proposal. He hadn't he hasn't read it yet.
The most recent draft.
That's as of yesterday. And maybe he's read it over the night. It would be nice if he would read it. You know, a lot of people are dying, so it would be really good if he'd read it. His people loved the proposal. They really liked it. His lieutenants, his top people, they liked it. But they said he hasn't read it yet. I think he should find time to read it.
Is it time for Ukraine to hold an election, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. It's been a long time. It hasn't been doing particularly well. Yeah, I think it's time. I think it's an important time to hold an election. You know, they're using war not to hold an election, but I would think the Ukrainian people would, should have that choice, and maybe Zelensky would win. I don't know who would win, but they haven't had an election in a long time. You know, they talk about a democracy, but it gets to a point where it's not a democracy anymore.
On Sunday, your son, Donald Trump Jr., responded to a reporter's question about whether you will, quote, walk away from Ukraine. And your son said, I think he may. Is that correct?
No, it's not correct, but it's not exactly wrong. We have to, they have to play ball if they don't read agreements, potential agreements. It's not easy with Russia because Russia has the upper hand. And they always did. They're much bigger. They're much stronger in that sense. I give Ukraine I give the people of Ukraine and the military of Ukraine tremendous credit for the, bravery and for the fighting and all of that. But, at some point, size will win generally. And this is a massive size. You take a look at the numbers. I mean, the numbers are just crazy. This is not a war that should have happened. This is a war that would have never happened if I were president. It's so sad. Millions of people are dead, many, many soldiers. Last month they lost 27,000 soldiers and some people from missiles being launched into Kiev and other places. But what a sad thing for humanity. This doesn't affect us. Our country is no longer paying any money. It was just Biden gave him $350 billion so stupidly. And, if he wouldn't have given it, maybe something else would have happened. But Putin had no respect for Biden, and he had no respect for Zelensky, didn't like Zelensky. They really hate each other. And part of the problem is they hate each other really a lot, And it's very hard for them to try and make a deal. It's harder than most. I settled 8 wars. And I would have said this is the 9th. This would have been the easiest one I would have said, or one of the easier ones. I mean, I settled one that was going on for 36 years. I settled Pakistan and India. I settled so many wars. I'm very proud of it. And I do it pretty routinely, pretty easily. It's not hard for me to do. It's what I do. I make deals. This one is tough. One of the reasons is the level of hatred between Putin and Zelensky is tremendous.
And you're right, you're not spending money, but you, sir, are spending your time and your energy on this.
I want to stop saving, I want to stop seeing people killed.
If this deal, if Zelensky rejects this deal, is there a timeline? Is there a point at which you say, okay?
Well, he's going to have to get on the ball and start accepting things. When you're losing, because you're losing.
Do you think Ukraine has lost this war?
Well, they've lost territory long before I got here. They lost a whole strip of seafront, big seafront. I mean, you look at the maps. I've been here for 10 months, but you go back 10 months and take a look. They lost that whole strip. It's now a bigger strip. It's a wider strip, but they lost a lot of land, and it's very good land, too, that they lost. You certainly wouldn't say it's a victory. I could show you a chart. It's a lot of land they lost.
It's a lot of land. I think
think of it. If our election wasn't rigged, it was a rigged election now, everyone knows. It's going to come out over the next couple of months too, loud and clear, because we have all the information there. But if the election wasn't rigged and stolen, you wouldn't even be talking about Ukraine right now.
The resounding consensus in Europe right now is that they want to keep supporting Ukraine until they can win this war.
Until they drop, yeah.
Well, is that realistic in your view?
I mean, look, then they should support it. Europe I'm friendly with all of them. I mean, I like all of them. I have no real enemy. I've had a couple that I didn't like over the years. I actually like the current crew. I like them a lot. But and I know them very well. I know them really well. Some are friends, some are okay. I know the good leaders, I know the bad leaders, I know the smart ones, I know the stupid ones. You got some real stupid ones too. But they're not doing a good job. Europe is not doing a good job in many ways. They're not doing a good job.
I want to ask
you
about that. They
talk too much, and they're not producing. We're talking about Ukraine. They talk, but they don't produce. And the war just keeps going on and on. I mean, 4 years now it's been going on, long before I got here. This is not my war. This is Joe Biden's war. And in terms of America, it's a very sad thing. And the only reason I really care about it is because I hate to see young, beautiful people being killed. That's largely why I got involved. I mean, if you look at the Congo and Rwanda, that's been going on. 14 million people at least killed. Nobody has any idea how many, but killed. Machetes, a lot of machete killings, vicious. But if you look at the wars, and some of the wars that really were going to be millions and millions of people. The Prime Minister of Pakistan said, I saved millions of people by getting involved with stopping India and Pakistan from fighting.
I do want to go back to Europe for a moment, though, because you said they're not doing a lot of things right in your view. And just
they can't be doing right, because look what's happened.
Well, your administration just released a new national security strategy that sent shockwaves throughout Europe. The strategy says a key pillar of American foreign policy should be, quote, cultivating resistance to Europe's current trajectory within European nations. How much should European leaders prepare for your administration to push to reshape the continent's politics?
Well, Europe is a different place.
What do you mean by that?
And if it keeps going the way it's going, Europe will not be, in my opinion, many of those countries will not be viable countries any longer. Their immigration policy is a disaster. What they're doing with immigration is a disaster. We had a disaster coming, but I was able to stop it. You know, we have no people coming through our borders now. 0, 7 months. I mean, who would believe 0? We went from millions of people, in some cases millions of people a month, but millions of people to no people.
That's not what Europe looks like.
The opposite, yeah. I know Europe, they're coming in from all parts of the world, not just the Middle East. They're coming in from the Congo, tremendous numbers of people coming from the Congo. And even worse, they're coming from prisons of the Congo and many other countries. And for some reason, they want to be politically correct, which actually I think is the opposite of politically correct. But they want to be politically correct, and they don't want to send them back to where they came from. And Europe is, if you take a look at Paris, it's a much different place. I loved Paris. It's a much different place than it was. If you take a look at London, you have a mayor named Khan. He's a horrible mayor. He's an incompetent mayor, but he's a horrible, vicious, disgusting mayor. I think he's done a terrible job. London's a different place. I love London. I love London. And I hate to see it happen. You know, my roots are in Europe, as you know.
Right.
And I hate to see that happen. This is one of the great places in the world, and they're allowing people just to come in and unchecked, unvetted.
So how involved are you going to get? I mean, could we see you getting involved in European elections,
I want to run the United
example?
States. I don't want to run Europe. I'm involved in Europe very much.
Might you endorse
NATO
candidates?
calls me daddy. I mean, I have a lot to say about it. Look, I raised, the GDP from 2% to 5%. The 2% they weren't paying and the 5% they are paying. And they're paying it because when we send things over, NATO pays for it, and I assume they give it to Ukraine. But Europe is being destroyed.
Would you consider getting involved in some of those elections to put in leaders that you think are better suited?
Well, I've endorsed people, but I've endorsed people that a lot of Europeans don't like. I've endorsed Viktor Orban. I endorsed, go back to South America, Latin America, South America, Milei, Argentina. He was losing in the election, and I endorsed him, and he won in a landslide.
Yeah, with Viktor Orban, beyond endorsing, he recently said that you promised him access to U.S.-backed financial shield worth up to $20 billion. Is that right?
No, I didn't promise him, but he certainly asked for it. But
would you consider giving that to him?
I just think he's doing a very good job in a different sense on immigration. His country's landlocked. He's got a different kind of a country. He doesn't have the sea, so he can't have ships coming in with energy. He's got a big pipe coming in from Russia. They've had it for a long time. It's a different situation he's got.
So would you consider some financial assistance there?
He's really gotten right is the immigration, because he allows nobody in his country. And Poland has done a very good job in that respect, too. But most European nations, they're decaying. They're decaying.
You can imagine some leaders in Europe are a little freaked out by what your posture is, and European.
No, they should be freaked out by what they're doing to their countries. They're destroying their countries.
Well, European Council President.
And they're people I like. Look, they're people I like. I get along with them. You know that. But they can't let this happen. And it gets to a point where you can't really correct it. There'll be a point, and it's very close to that point.
And what will that mean?
It will mean that they're no longer going to be strong nations.
Does that mean they won't be allies
Or
anymore?
they'll be, well, it depends, it depends. They'll change their ideology, obviously, because the people coming in have a totally different ideology. But it's going to make them much weaker. They'll be much weaker, and they'll be much different.
And what will that mean for our relationship
look at
with
your
them?
mayor of London. He's a disaster. He's a disaster. He's got a totally different ideology of what he's supposed to have. And he gets elected because so many people have come in and they vote for him now because, it's like, it's one of those things. But I hate what's happened to London, and I hate what's happened to Paris. I hate when I see it.
Sir, it's sometimes hard to tell when you say these things. Do you intend to send kind of a message of tough love to our allies to push them to make reforms? Or do you think that many of them are just weak and you don't really want to be allies with them?
I think they're weak. But I also think that they want to be so politically correct. I think they don't know what to do. Europe doesn't know what to do. They don't know what to do on trade either. I mean, I look at a lot of the trade, situation that's going on over there. It's a little bit dangerous. But Europe, they want to be politically correct, and it makes them weak. That's what makes them weak.
It sounds.
As I'm watching this interview, and I wanted to make sure you guys saw this either tonight or tomorrow, a lot of people obviously here don't like Politico. I don't care for Politico either. And you probably think to yourself, why does President Trump even do these interviews? Why would he subject himself to an obvious liberal publication that wants to try? It's because he has to get his message out. He has to continue to tell everybody what he's doing. He doesn't care. They're not going to trip him up. I think at this point they have to realize they are not going to get a gotcha question, and you're not going to like his answers when he's brutally honest. And like I told you earlier this morning, he views Europe as being weak. He said it twice so far. They're weak. He also said something else. And Darb024 mentioned this. Hold on, let me see if I can pull this up. Darb says, catch that about the rigged election. It will come out in a couple of months. You got to listen to his answers, not her questions, his answers. That's exactly what he said. The election information is about to come out for 2020. So let's continue.
I think you want to see some pretty massive changes.
Well, I think they should get the people out that came into the country illegally.
I want to ask about NATO.
If you take a look at Sweden. So Sweden was known as the safest country in Europe, one of the safest countries in the world. Now it's known as a very unsafe, pretty unsafe country. It's not even believable. It's a whole different country. Sweden.
And Sweden most recently joined NATO. One of the things that the National Security Strategy says is that the U.S. should work toward ending the perception and preventing the reality of NATO as a perpetually expanding alliance. Are there countries in NATO that you think shouldn't be in the alliance?
Well,
Sweden,
there
for
are
example?
countries that are difficult for NATO. Not that they shouldn't be. I think it's good to have them. Turkey's an example. Erdogan, he's a friend of mine. Whenever they have a problem with Erdogan, they ask me to call because they can't speak to him. He's a tough cookie. I actually like him a lot. I think actually, look, he's built a strong country, strong military, but they have a hard time dealing with him, and they ask me to call him. And I do call him, and I always work it out with him. He and I work it out really quickly. We had some people that he released that were taken and going through years and years of court cases and everything else. And I said, you got to release him. And he did. He is, very different than a lot of the other leaders. But they have a hard time with him. But, they shouldn't really have a hard time with him.
Should NATO stop accepting new members? Should NATO end where it is now?
Well, there aren't that many left when you get right down to it, right? There aren't that many left. It was always... long before Putin, it was an understanding that Ukraine would not be going into NATO. This was long before Putin, in all fairness. And now they pushed, when Zelensky first went in and first met Putin, he said, I want two things. I want Crimea back, and we're going to be a member of NATO. He didn't say it in a very nice way either, He's a great salesman. I call him P.T. Barnum. You know who P.T. Barnum was, right?
I do.
One of the greatest on earth. He could sell any product at any time. That was his expression. I can sell any product at any time. It was true. He said, it doesn't matter whether it works or not. But he's P.T. Barnum. He got crooked Joe Biden to give him $350 billion. And look what it got. It got him about 25% of his country is missing. And in all fairness to Biden, Obama gave away Crimea.
Right, that all happened in 2014.
Obama, because Crimea was the heart. I'm a real estate person at heart, right? I'm very good at real estate. And every time I look at that map, I said, oh, this Crimea is so beautiful. Wow. It's surrounded on four sides by ocean. It's only got a little piece of land to get to, to the main, Crimea is massive. But it connects the part of Ukraine that we talk about now,
right,
through a small little jetty. It's four sides of ocean in the warmest part. It's got the best weather, best everything. And I know you are Ukrainian, and you know Ukraine very well. And Obama forced them to give up Crimea. That was...
Did you catch that? He basically just told her, I know about you. I've done my homework on you. And it probably struck her that the President of the United States knows a little bit of her background. You're Ukrainian, aren't you? Oh, he knows that. I better watch out. That was just classic Trump. Just to let her know, I know where you're coming from.
I remember when it happened, but I wasn't involved like I am now. To the knowledge that I have now, I have great knowledge of Ukraine now. I have great knowledge of
really
many
this conflict began back in 2014. People forget, long before the invasion of a few years ago.
Well, you know when this conflict really began, though? It was simmering for years, but when Obama gave up Crimea, that was a big thing.
I do want to ask...
do you agree with that? That was a big piece to give up. You are of Ukrainian descent.
That was a major, I remember, when I first moved to the United States, a lot of people didn't know what Ukraine even was. And it was in 2014 that people suddenly started to realize how significant geopolitically that area really is.
I just say, from the standpoint of beauty, weather, everything, Crimea is the warmest. It's just got such great potential. And Obama forced them. Obama did this. This is not Biden. Well, maybe he was involved, but I doubt it. He probably didn't know too much then either. He was never the brightest bulb. But, Obama gave away. He made them give it away.
Well, I do think your approach to Europe is so different than any of your predecessors.
See, I don't know if that was an edit, but he caught her by surprise and basically flatlined her because she had nowhere else to go because she had to agree with him. That's something I bet you she wasn't prepared for. You're Ukrainian, so you know this is what really happened, don't you? Yeah. Oh, he just cut her legs out from underneath her. All right, looks like President Trump is just landed at this point in Pennsylvania. So it's going to be a while before he gets to the airport and gets on stage. So we can continue with this interview.
I just want to see a strong Europe.
And this national security strategy, I mean, says a lot about the changes that you want.
But you have to understand, here's my approach to Europe. I want to see a strong Europe. When they allow millions of people to pour into their countries, many of these people are committing tremendous crimes. And again, look at Sweden. I'm not knocking Sweden. I love Sweden. I love the people of Sweden. But they go from a crime-free country to a country that has a lot of crime now. Look at Germany. Germany was crime-free, and Angela made two big mistakes: immigration and energy. But those two are beauties.
Well, one country that is pleased with the change in strategy from the United States is Russia. A Kremlin spokesperson called the strategy document a, quote, positive step, and said the adjustments they're seeing are, quote, largely consistent with Moscow's vision. Do you think that's a good thing?
Well, I think he'd like to see a weak Europe. And so, you know, to be honest with you, he's getting that. That has nothing to do with me.
But he thinks the changes that you're making and what you laid out in your vision for Europe is what Moscow wants to see.
I have no vision for Europe. All I want to see is a strong Europe. Look, I have a vision for the United States, America first. It's make America great again. I do explain to Europe because I think, you know, I'm supposed to be a very smart person. I have eyes, I have ears, I have knowledge, I have vast knowledge. I see what's happening. I get reports that you will never see. And I think it's horrible what's happening to Europe. I think it's endangering Europe as we know it. Europe could be a whole different place.
Your impact.
And I think the European people should do something about it.
Your impact does stretch far beyond Europe. I want to talk about another area where you're making your mark, which is in Venezuela. You've said that Nicolas Maduro's days are numbered and that the U.S. could soon strike Venezuelan territory. Could we see American troops on the ground in Venezuela?
I don't comment on that. I wouldn't say that one way or the other. I can say.
All right, so you saw, many of you guys may have seen Chuck Schumer today freaking out, wanting to know what's going on in Venezuela. And let me push this up because President Trump is coming off the plane. I like how they all run. We gotta go catch up. We gotta catch up. All right, so back to the interview.
It is that he sent us millions of people, many from prisons, many drug dealers and drug lords, and mental institution, people in mental institutions. He sent them into our country where we had a very stupid president. You know that. Biden's a low IQ person. especially nowadays. I mean, he was low IQ 30 years ago, but he was especially low IQ now. And what he did to our country is not good. Tren de Aragua, the gangs, one of the meanest gangs in the world.
You've locked down the border now.
No, he sent a lot of these people. He also sends in a lot of drugs. So we'll see how it all works out. But
So do you
I can't talk about
So
strategy.
how far would you go to take Maduro out of office?
I don't want to say that,
But you want to see him out?
his days are numbered.
His days are numbered. That pretty much is a yes, Dasha. He's going to take him out. You heard it from him himself. His days are numbered.
Can you rule out an American ground invasion?
I don't want to rule in or out. I don't talk about it. Why would I talk to you, an extremely unfriendly publication, if you want to call it Politico, that got $8 million from Obama to keep it afloat? Why would I do that? Why would I talk about that to Politico? I mean, I'm doing this because you picked me as a man
Well,
for Europe,
I'm
and I
asking
thought it was
for
appropriate
transparency
thing to do.
for their American people, because a lot of folks are,
Transparency.
well, people are
I'll tell
wondering
you, I am
what
the
is,
most transparent politician maybe in the world.
a lot of
okay?
folks are wondering what our goals are in
Sure, but
Venezuela.
I don't want to talk to you about military strategy.
Well, may I ask then, what is your goal in Venezuela? What do you want to see with the actions that you're taking?
Well, one goal is I want the people of Venezuela to be treated well. I want the people of Venezuela, many of whom live in the United States, to be respected. I mean, they were tremendous to me. They voted for me 94% or something. I mean, it's incredible. I own a big project, Doral. It's a great place, Doral Country
Been there.
Club. Yeah, and it's a very large place, beautiful place, right in the middle of, they call it Little Venezuela. And I got to know the Venezuelan people very well because of that. I've owned it for a long time, and they're unbelievable people. The area is such a successful area. Everybody is successful. It's amazing. They say if a house is for sale for more than 3 days, there's something wrong. I mean, a house, if somebody wants to sell their house, they sell it in just a matter of moments. People love the area, and I got to know the people well. They're incredible people. And they were treated horribly by Maduro.
And are those the kind of immigrants that you do want to see in America?
Well, they certainly contribute. Yeah, I want to see people. Yeah, I want to see people that contribute. I don't want to see Somalia. I don't want to see a woman that marries her brother to get in and then becomes a congressman, does nothing but complain. All she does is complain, 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 and yet her country's a mess. It's one of the worst in the world. Let her go back, fix up her own country. Somalia, yeah, and I was right about it. I started complaining about Somalia long before the scandal. The horrible things they're doing to Minnesota, it's incredible. They have an incompetent governor there, too. The Democrats are running some bad ships.
Speaking of ships, I do want to talk about the boat strikes. The defense secretary, should he testify, Pete Hegseth, under oath before Congress about that controversial second strike on the alleged drug boat on
I don't care if he
September
does.
2nd?
He can if he wants. I don't care.
Do you think he should?
I don't care. I would say do it if you want, Pete. He's doing a great job.
Have you watched the
He
video?
was stopping. I watched everything, yeah. I watch everything. I see a lot of things.
And do you believe that
not
second
pretty,
strike
but-
was necessary?
Well, it looked like they were trying to turn back over the boat, but I don't get involved in that. That's up to them. The admiral that did that is a highly respected, as you know, a highly respected man. And we save 25,000 people every time we knock out a boat. On average, they kill 25,000 Americans. So, I don't like doing that, but the drugs coming in through the sea are down by 92%. And I'm trying to figure out the 8%. Who are they? Nobody wants to drive boats to America loaded up with drugs anymore.
Well, I do want to ask,
and we're going to
because
hit them on land very soon, too.
almost all the illicit fentanyl in the United States is actually produced in Mexico using precursor chemicals from China, according to the DEA. And Venezuela isn't a significant source or transit country for fentanyl. It barely appears on the DEA's trafficking assessments.
Yeah. Well, they do send lots of drugs. Those boats come in largely from Venezuela, so I would say that's a significant. And you can see the drugs. You can see these bags all over the boat. I mean, just bags
So
and
if it's
bags
about
and
drugs,
bags.
would you consider...
But let me tell you what they do. They send really, really bad people into our country, and they've done it better than anybody else. They emptied their prisons into our country, and these prisoners are seriously tough. They entered, all of their prisons have been emptied into the United States of America. Murderers, 11,888 murderers.
So is this about making sure Maduro sees justice then?
11,888 murderers were entered into our country. And Stupid Joe took all those people, and now we're getting them out. We're finding them. We found a lot of them, and we're getting them out, or we're putting them in jail. Some are so dangerous and so bad that we don't want to put them back to their country because they'll find a way to get back in. But these are stone-cold murderers. But every time we knock out a boat, we save 25,000 American lives.
So would you consider doing something similar with Mexico and Colombia that are even more responsible for fentanyl trafficking into the U.S.?
Sure, I would.
You pardoned former Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez and let him out of prison, even though he was convicted in a massive international drug trafficking scheme. How is that zero tolerance on drug trafficking?
Well, I don't know him, and I know very little about him, other than people said it was like a Obama-Biden type setup, where he was set up. He was the president of the country. The country deals in drugs like probably you could say that about every country. And because he was the president, they gave him like 45 years in prison. And there are many people fighting for Honduras, very good people that I know, and they think he was treated horribly, and they asked me to do it, and I said, I'll do it.
Do you think that could send the wrong message to drug dealers?
No, I don't think so. Look, I think, when you weaponize government, they've weaponized their government just like they did over here. I'm one of the people that survived, but they weaponized the government. We had the most weaponized government. Our election was rigged. They went after me. I was impeached twice. I was indicted. They indicted me. I came out good. Here we are in the White House. Things are looking nice, but they were vicious, and they are vicious. They're sick people.
We've talked a lot about foreign policy. You've spent a ton of your first year focused on those conflicts around the world, and that has led to some concerns, even from your own supporters, that there hasn't been enough focus on some of the issues here at home. I know that this week you're going back out on the trail, giving me flashbacks of covering your rallies here. You're hitting the road to talk about the economy. I wonder, sir, what grade would you give your economy right now?
Before I answer that, let me just tell you something. I've watched stupid people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, or some people call her Taylor Greene, some people call her Taylor Brown, because green sometimes turns to brown, which isn't nice. But I've watched her say that he spends too much time on foreign. Well, by doing that, and first of all, it doesn't take a lot of time. I made one trip. I brought back trillions of dollars on that one trip. I stopped in Japan. I stopped in South Korea. I met with President Xi and ended what could have been a big problem. You went to the Middle East. I was on that trip with you. Went to the Middle East. I brought back $3 trillion from the Middle East. I sold many Boeing airplanes on that trip, like 300. When I go on a trip, I only have one place in mind. It's the United States. So when people with low IQs like Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's a low IQ person. When she says it's too, but she was a loyal person until I wasn't able to answer her phone calls because I'm just too busy to answer people's phone calls. You can't call me 3 times a day, and it's just not appropriate when I have over 200 congressmen, 53 senators, 212 countries. All of these people are calling, and a family. Actually, the family suffers. It's harder for me to call back the family. But when you think of what I've done, remember rare earth and the problem with magnets and all of these things that was going to shut down the whole world. I worked it out with President Xi. We have a good relationship. I worked it out with President Xi. Very favorable to the United States. Does come back to the economy here in the U.S., right? You made a statement, though, that I devote too much time to outside of the United States. I've made a fortune for the United States by focusing on things outside. To be clear, that's not my statement. That's just what some of your supporters and some others have said. Well, then, I can't imagine their supporters because I made a fortune and spend very little time. All of my time is spent here. Most of my time is spent here. But when I do go outside, it's only going outside for here. For instance, settling and solving the problem with China, that has a huge effect in the United States. Making deals with Japan, South Korea, Indonesia, all of these countries, you're talking about trillions and trillions of dollars. So I guess I could say, let's not deal with anybody. We wouldn't have much of a country. We wouldn't have much of an economy. We make a lot of money with these countries. Now, in the past, these countries all ripped us off. If you go back during Biden, if you go back during Obama, they were ripping us off like no country's ever been ripped off. That's why we owe $38 trillion. I mean, we owe it for a reason. But just remember, when we had a problem with China very recently, I was able to work that out. You don't work that out by not talking to people, by not answering. So with the magnets, with the rare earth, it was a big problem.
And you're looking to have an impact here back home.
Well, no, impact. We would have been shut down. China would have been shut down. The whole world would have been shut down.
She's so over her head. Impact? Come on, baby. You're euphemizing. Impact. I'm the reason why this is happening. I think about that point, she realized I'm in way too deep. All right, this is the venue. I just wanted to jump in and show it to you, let you know you haven't missed anything. President Trump, as I showed you, landed, but he has not made his way to the venue as of yet.
So wait a minute. So some people would say, don't focus on anything outside of our border. I like that too. But I've made trillions and trillions of dollars and solved problems and solved wars. Do you know most of the wars that I solved were solved sitting behind the Oval Office desk on a telephone? I think those are worthy phone calls. Even if they didn't impact us to save millions of lives from another country, and if I can do that easily because I have an ability, are pretty good.
But I do want to talk about the economy, sir, here at home. And I wonder what grade you would give
A+.
your economy. A+.
Yeah, A++++++.
Well, it's interesting because I talked to a supporter of yours. Her name is Melanie from Westmoreland County, PA, and she loves you. She gave you overall an A++ grade. But here's what she said about the economy. She said, quote, groceries, utility, and...
Wait. The woman said she gave President Trump an A++, but you're going to extract from her something negative. She said A++. I believe that's what she just said. I spoke to this woman. She gave it A++, but she did have a problem.
Insurance and the basic cost of running small business keep rising faster than wages. She also says that not enough is being done. Mr. President, this is one of your supporters.
Okay, good. And I love her because you said I got an A+ on everything, I guess. I don't know. But
she's still worried about the economy.
But what you have to understand, the word affordability. I inherited a mess. I inherited a total mess. Prices were at an all-time high. When I came in, prices are coming down substantially. Look at energy. You and I discussed before the interview, energy. Energy has come down incredibly. When energy comes down, everything, because it's so much bigger than any other subject, but energy has come down incredibly. Prices are all coming down. It's been 10 months. It's amazing what we've done. If you think of gasoline a gallon, they had it at $4.50, almost $5. You go to some of the states, you had it at $6. We hit 3 states 2 days ago, $1.99 a gallon. When that happens, everything comes down. Now, everything is coming down. With beef, I've just opened that up, where beef is going to start coming down pretty substantially.
Would you consider more carve-outs on other goods that Americans find too expensive?
Well, some carve-outs, you mean from tariffs?
From tariffs, yeah. Like coffee, like bananas.
Sure, and I've done that already with coffee. They're very small carve-outs. It's not a big deal. But let me tell you about the real economy. We've got $18 trillion coming into our country. Biden had less than $1 trillion for 4 years, and he was heading south. Our country was falling apart. 18 trillion because of tariffs. $18 trillion is coming into our country. I think because of tariffs and November 5th election, if you want to know the truth. But
so would you rule out reducing tariffs on any more goods?
On some, and on some I'll increase tariffs. Because you know what happens is because of tariffs, all of the car companies are coming back. You know, we lost 58% of the automobile business. We had a monopoly on the world. We had everything. And because we had presidents that either weren't smart or didn't have business sense, or their people didn't do a good job, they could have kept that. We could have kept the chip market. We had 100% of the chip market, Intel, all of these guys. You know, there's a thing. They came in to see me, Intel. They needed something to be done by the government. I said, I'm going to do it, but I think you have to give us 10% of your company. You know what happened? We made $40 billion on that deal. The price went through the roof. The United States, in about 10 minutes, I made $40 billion. Nobody talks about that.
I want to ask about interest.
That's why he has to talk about it. And it's starting to bleed out. I caught this video by, of all places, CNN today.
Is the price of gasoline. Look at this, a fresh 4.5-year low, 3.5-year low of $2.95 a gallon as of today. That is miles away from the all-time high set back in 2022 under former President Biden, above $5 a gallon. And it is lower, although only a little bit lower than at this point last year. Now,
It's still lower. It's just about this far away from being half the price. I said it earlier in this afternoon show. How are you bitching about gas prices or not being able to afford things when it's almost half as expensive? The price is half. What were they saying back in 2022? Nothing. The media never talked about it.
Rates, because a lot of Americans agree with you that they're too high. You're going to pick a new Fed chair soon. Is it a litmus test that the new chair lower interest rates immediately?
Yes. Well, this guy should too, but I think he's a combination of not a smart person and doesn't like Trump. But
so
the
you've
reason he
spoken
doesn't
with your
like
potential.
Trump, well, the reason he doesn't like Trump is because I hit him hard because he's doing a bad job.
So you've talked to your potential candidates.
We're fighting through interest rates. Look, he's a negative, but this country is doing so well. Again, we have $18 trillion being invested. Car companies are moving back that left us years ago. AI is coming in at levels never seen before. Factories are opening up all over the country. $18 trillion of investment in the United States. Again, with Biden, we would have lost $10 trillion, okay? 18, that's a record. You know who has the second record? China. China had $2 trillion. That's a lot, $2 trillion. We have $18 trillion. And that ultimately, you know what it reduces itself to? Jobs. You can have jobs like you've never seen in the United States.
Before I let you go.
And by the way, and prices are coming down. Just to talk about affordability, the Democrats love to say affordability, but then they never talk about it. They're the ones that gave us the high prices. I'm the one that's bringing them down.
Well, one of the biggest issues on affordability right now is health care. And Obamacare subsidies are set to expire in a couple of weeks, which will lead to higher prices for millions of Americans. I do wonder, Mr. President.
But you said the word, Obamacare. Obamacare was conceived by Barack Hussein Obama, who knew nothing about health care.
But we're in the situation we're in now where those subsidies will expire. So I wonder, is letting those...
She interrupted him. As the words are coming out of your mouth, you're hailing Obamacare. You're talking about Obamacare, saying it's so great, but it needs subsidies in order to exist. I don't know where she gets her definition, but affordable does not equate to your money and my money paying for somebody else's stuff. That means it's unaffordable. It means the people can't afford it. They use the word subsidy as though it's, just a given. You got to give up your money for the other people. They have no idea, or they probably do understand if they tell people what it is, we're taking from you and giving it to these people who, for whatever reason, aren't able to pay for their insurance. That subsidy is the item that makes Obamacare unaffordable. It is not the Affordable Care Act. It is the Subsidy Care Act. There is no affordability when you have to take other people's money to pay for something. I hate the word subsidy. Just say what it is. It's a grift.
Subsidies expire acceptable to you, and should Americans...
What I want on health care is very simple. Obamacare was set up for insurance companies to become rich, okay? That was why they, in my opinion, I think the Democrats did it for that reason. Do you know that insurance company stocks have gone up 16, 17, 1,800% over a short period of time? They've been paid trillions, not billions, trillions of dollars. And what I'm saying is very simple. I don't want to pay them anything. No money for the insurance companies. Sorry, fellas, I know them all. No money for the insurance companies. I want to pay the money directly to the people and let the people get their own health care. But you know who's fighting me on that? The Democrats.
But in the meantime, 2 weeks, Mr. President.
There should be no buts. You should listen to what the man's saying and then respond accordingly and say, but. No, there's no buts. The Democrats want to keep paying the insurance companies. It's that simple. It's simple.
People will see those premiums go up. So will you tell Congress to extend those Obamacare subsidies while you work out another deal?
I don't know. I'm going to have to say, I'd like to get better health care. I'd like to have people buy their own health care, get much better health care. And what I want to do, very simple, I want to give the money to the people, not to the insurance companies.
So right now people are buying their holiday presents. They're planning
Look, don't be dramatic.
No.
Don't be dramatic.
They're
Here's
planning their
what
budget
I want
for
to
next
do.
year,
Here's what I
Mr.
want to
President.
I know. And what I want to do is help them.
So will their premiums go up?
I'm giving them money. I want to give the money to the people to buy their own health care. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. The Democrats don't want to do that. They want the insurance companies to continue to make a fortune. The Democrats are owned by the insurance companies. They want the insurance companies to get this trillions of dollars. We spend trillions of dollars goes to the insurance companies. I want that money to go to the people and let the people go out and buy their own health care.
That's why he does these interviews. He's letting people know, yes, there is an alternative. No, your premiums aren't going up, that people paying for your premiums are going away. The premium's still here. You were just getting all this extra money from everybody else. It's absolutely absurd. What do we got now? I guess they're waiting for President Trump still to come out. Let me get back.
It works like magic. But you know who doesn't want it? The Democrats, because they're corrupt people, because they're totally owned and bought by the insurance companies.
So at this point, most likely.
It's a government plane, but I like to take care of it. Hello. Somebody's in there. Come on out.
Mr. President, Senators Cassidy and Greenville have introduced a bill to create health savings accounts to replace Obamacare subsidies.
That's good.
Do you support that bill?
Well, I like the concept. I don't want to give the insurance companies any money. They've been ripping off the public for years. Obamacare is a scam to make the insurance companies rich, and they have made, I mean, you look, $1,400 to $1,700 increase, 100% increase over the last number of years. There's really few things that have gone up like insurance companies. They're getting numbers and money like nobody's ever seen before. Billions and billions of dollars is paid directly to insurance companies. We're not going to do that anymore. I believe Obamacare was set up to take care of insurance companies, not to take care of the American public. No, I love the idea of money going directly to the people, not to the insurance companies, going directly to the people. It can be in the health savings account. It can be a number of different ways. And the people go out and buy their own insurance, which can be really much better, health insurance, health care.
Mr. President, I was with you in Vegas and you had no tax on tips,
right?
The hospitality industry. Would you ever consider no tax on gambling winnings, considering that might be another stage to save American...
I haven't been asked that question in a long time. No tax on gambling winnings. I don't know. We have no tax on tips. We have no tax on Social Security. And we have no tax on overtime. No tax on gambling winnings. I don't know about that. I'm going to have to think about that. I think it's better to go up and maybe take our seats. It's a pretty rough flight. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Premiums will go up, and you will find another
well,
plan?
Your premiums could go down if you did what I want to do. I want to give the money. Ready? I want to give the people better health insurance for less money. The people will get the money, and they're going to buy the health insurance that they want.
I want to talk about one last really important issue.
You know that works really well, right? And you know the Democrats don't want to do it because they want the insurance companies to make all the money.
Immigration, sir, critical to your agenda.
Immigration, sir, it's critical to your agenda. Just go ahead and cut him off. Just go ahead and cut off the president. You evil... Oh, boy, he's got so much composure.
I want to ask about what the Pope has said, which is he has called your immigration actions inhumane. Do you take that seriously from the Pope?
I haven't seen that. I mean, maybe he has. I mean, he also didn't like the wall. You know, they didn't like the wall. The wall
turned out to be great.
Do you plan to meet or speak with him? I built a wall that stopped people from flooding, and I didn't put up the wall. I built the wall. The wall. Nobody talks about that. You know, it's interesting. 2 years ago, a year ago, under Biden, this country was out of control. Millions of people pouring through, totally unchecked, totally unvetted. And now we have nobody coming in. We have them coming in only legally. They have to go through a legal process. Nobody ever talks about that anymore. They should talk about that. But I haven't heard any statements from the Pope. I'm sure he's a lovely man. His brother's a lovely man.
Yeah,
you know,
you've
his
spoken
brother.
to him. Well,
you know, his brother is Sirius MAGA. Lives in Florida. He's
so
like,
will you meet with the other brother, with the Pope?
I already met with the brother. He
But
came
with the Pope, will you meet with him or speak with him?
Why not?
One more question on immigration. The Supreme Court is going to hear a case that could redefine who is here legally in the United States. I'm talking about the birthright citizenship case. If the court sides with you and ends birthright citizenship, are you going to try to take away citizenship from people who already have it?
I honestly haven't thought of that, but I will tell you this. The case is very interesting because that case was meant for the babies of slaves. And if you look at the dates on the case, it was exactly having to do with the Civil War. That case was not meant for some rich person coming from another country, putting a foot in our country, and all of a sudden their whole family becomes, United States citizens. That case is all about slaves, the babies of slaves. And it was a good reason for doing it. And that's all it was about. And people now are understanding it. It's been explained to them, and I think the court understands it too. That would be a devastating decision if we lose that case.
That court,
because our country cannot afford to house tens of millions of people that came in through birthright citizenship. When that happened, that was meant for the babies of slaves. And if you look at the exact dates that it was passed, it all had to do with the Civil War and the ending of the Civil War. It's that little period of time, and people now are starting to understand it.
Do you want to see one of the justices on the Supreme Court retire so you can put in one more before the end of your term?
Well, the Democrats want to flood the court.
Clarence Thomas is 77, Samuel Alito is 75. Do you want one more on there?
Well, I hope they stay because I think they're fantastic, okay? Both of those men are fantastic.
Before I let you go, I want to ask.
I will say this. The Democrats want to pack the court. They want to have 21 justices. That would be a terrible thing for this country.
The future of the Republican Party. Like, I watched you on all of your campaigns pull together, especially in this last one, an unprecedented coalition to win the presidency. You brought in so many new voters to the Republican Party. You chipped away at some of the core bases of the Democratic Party. Is there anyone else in the GOP that can energize the coalition the way you did?
I hope so. I don't know. You never know until they're tested. It's like you jump in the water, you can swim or you can't. Some people can swim and some people can't. You never know. You have to see. I think we have a very good bench, I must tell. We have a lot of good people. We have a great cabinet. I have a really great cabinet. Better than my first cabinet. I had some very good people in my first cabinet, but this cabinet, I have much more experience. When I first came to Washington, it was interesting. I didn't know anything about any of the people. I was a very successful guy from New York City, real estate, and other things. I mean, I had a great show and a lot of things, but basically real estate. And by the way, I'm fixing up the White House, making it beautiful. I'm doing a great ballroom that they've tried to do for 150 years and all of that stuff. But you never know. Your question's such an interesting question. You never really know until they get tested. I hope so.
You see, I think he did a great job with her. I love that he takes on the antagonists that want to come after him, and he just sits there with a smile on his face and just swats them away. So President Trump was supposed to be on stage at 6 o'clock, and this is the venue where everybody's waiting for him. However, he's not at the venue. I'm looking at the airport right now, and as I look at the airport right now, it appears as though at this point that he just got there. He just got to the airport where they're going to be bringing him in. Hold on a second. Let me show you some of that. 1 second. I got to do this. And, okay, hold on 1 second so you guys can see this. Well, hold on. I'll go full screen while I'm waiting to fix the full screen. Okay, here we go. Okay, SV gave me an update. SV, thanks for the update. It says President Trump is late for the Pennsylvania rally because he was delayed getting out of Washington because he went to J.D. Vance's Christmas party. So he's like, I get there when I get there. So he just landed in the Poconos, and he's about to come off the plane, or rather the helicopter right now. There he is. All right, so President Trump just landed, which means we probably have, I'd say, 15 or 20 minutes before they fly him in or drive now through the city, and he gets there, but he has landed. The Eagle has indeed landed. So I probably do have enough time. Oh, no, I'm not going to show you the interview. I know what I want to show you. So I showed you guys earlier, actually I put it up on Twitter, where, well, I'll just show it to you again. This was Chuck Schumer before he went into the Gang of Eight.
Okay, it was a very unsatisfying briefing. I asked Secretary Hegseth, Secretary of Defense Hegseth.
Oops, that was the wrong one. All right, so this is the one that he did before he went in.
Now, finally, this afternoon, Secretaries Hegseth and Rubio and top officials will brief the Gang of Eight, and I'll be there. I plan to confront Secretary Hegseth on exactly what the hell is going on in the Caribbean. I plan to demand Secretary Hegseth give the total, unedited videos of what happened in the September 2nd boat strikes. Trump originally agreed to do this, but now they're afraid. What's Hegseth hiding? And second, I will demand of Rubio and Hegseth what the hell is going on in the Caribbean and in Venezuela. What are their plans? How far do they plan to go? Trump has already talked about Venezuela waters and even going attacking Venezuela on land. How far do they intend to go? And when Trump says these crazy things, does he really mean them? And will he drag America into an endless war? It's about getting...
Endless war? I'm pretty sure if we got to do something with Venezuela, it won't be endless. In fact, it will probably be pretty quick. Endless? What, is he trying to give something away there? What are you talking about, Chucky? It ain't going to be endless. It will end rather quickly.
Truth for the American people. The American people are entitled to see the unedited videos. Last week, Trump said he'd have no problem releasing the videos. Then yesterday, he walked back his statement, claiming he said it was fake news. You know, this guy's amazing. He said it. It's on the air. Millions saw it. Now he says it's fake news, even though he said it. It means he's a fake. Let's be clear. The only way to bring clarity is to release the full unedited tapes. That's why the NDA included a provision requiring the Pentagon to hand the tapes over. If they don't, Pete Hegseth's travel budget gets slashed 25%. And this proposal had the support of Democrats and Republicans, including Wicker, including Republicans in the House and Senate. It shows you that both parties are united that these videos ought to be released so the American people can see them. Congress is united in demanding transparency. I strongly support this provision, fought to keep it in the bill. Trump, Hegseth, Rubio must do the right thing. And they all must release the tapes and tell the American people the truth the people deserve to hear.
So you would think if you made that kind of a statement, if you said, I demand, and I'm getting ready to go into the meeting right now, and I'm going to tell Pete Hegseth, you better give me what I want. I'm Chuck, what the hell is going on in Venezuela? Well, I'm pretty sure he just did an interview with Dasha Burns that he wants to get Maduro out of here. So I think we all know what the end game is. I don't know why you're pretending like you don't know. But in any event, that was Chucky Breaking Bad before he went into the meeting. And then Chucky came out of the meeting.
Okay, it was a very unsatisfying briefing. I asked Secretary Hegseth, Secretary of Defense Hegseth, would he let every member of Congress see the unedited videos of the September 2nd strike? His answer, we have to study it. Well, in my view, they've studied it long enough, and Congress ought to be able to see it. I told him that every member of Congress, so many members of Congress, Democrat and Republican, had a right to see it, wanted to see it, and should see it. In terms of Venezuela, I asked them what their strategy is and what they were doing. Again, did not get satisfying answers at all.
Yeah, so much for your demands. Be gone, Chucky. We're not giving you crap. You imagine going out in front of the press and saying you're demanding what the hell is going on in the Caribbean and in Venezuela? I'm going to make Pete Hegseth tell me. And then coming back out and go, they told me to pound sand. Don't you care about your manhood? I mean, you just got clipped. Completely clipped. All right, so you're looking at the venue. President Trump has not yet arrived. So I'm going to show you, or begin to show you, my interview with the mayor here of Boca Raton. I think it was kind of interesting. I think you guys might gain something for it. If not, you'll know a little bit of the flavor of South Florida. So if President Trump comes on before this interview is over, obviously I will jump in. All right, let's listen in.
Mayor Scott Singer tells me that Boca Raton is open for business to companies wanting to relocate from New York City. Businesses worried about possible tax increases.
We're the economic engine of Palm Beach County.
Are setting sight on relocating to Boca Raton.
At this point, have you already had businesses from New York commit to coming down to Boca? We've had some of our relocations have been from out of state. We've had a number of conversations, and I think after tomorrow, people who've been talking to us are going to finalize those discussions. We're focused on the businesses. We don't expect all of the residents who want to leave to New York to be able to come here.
Everybody, it's not often that I have an interview with somebody here where I live in my hometown of Boca Raton, Florida. And that would be today. We're going to be talking to Scott Singer, who is the mayor of Boca Raton. Scott has also he lived in New York. He wasn't a lawyer in New York, but he is now a mayor since, I think, 2018 or 2019 down here in Boca. Scott, how are you this morning?
Doing great, Barry. Thanks for having me.
So I understand, first off the bat, you're part of something called the America First Policy Institute Mayor's Council. What exactly is that?
Absolutely. America First Policy Institute was formed in the waning days of the first Trump administration by now Secretary Brooke Rollins, Secretary Linda McMahon, Larry Kudlow, and others. And for the last 4 years, it had been preparing for the next Republican or next conservative presidency. And they've done an amazing job laying the groundwork for President Trump's transformational less than 1 year. I can't think of any other president who started off with such a record of continued successes, both in foreign policy as President Trump. AFPI helped pave the way for that. I've been involved with them since 2024 and been honored this year to kick off as the founding chair of their Mayor's Council. We now have nearly 50 mayors from across the country who are focused on tying the America First wins in Washington to better policy implementation at the local level. And it does several things. One, it helps us work together on best practices. Second, it's a springboard for ideas that might take shape from one city to another as we try to find policies to make sure that our cities are livable, safe, affordable, and beacons for families and businesses to come. And it's great to work with like-minded mayors. We also advocate for policies that help, bridge the gap between Washington and cities. And just take a couple examples. President Trump's done amazing work on securing the border, but that has a direct impact on cities. We face the opioid crisis. Well, securing the border is going to dramatically reduce deaths and overdoses. Illegal immigration. Some cities have been borne by that scourge. Fortunately, we've been much more fortunate in Boca Raton not to have gang activities that other cities do. But one of our mayors, because of a relationship with the administration and information that they shared, was able to enter into a 287G agreement, as many of us have, that helped them join a task force that made a direct impact on reducing gang activity in their cities. So it's an honor to work with these mayors across the country and try to find great common sense ideas.
You know, there's been a hot topic, obviously, nationally about affordability. And you just mentioned, excuse me, I got a bad cold. You just mentioned that Boca doesn't have the same type of gang issue. From an affordability position, we don't really have the affordability issue because there's really no real affordable housing. How are you guys attacking affordability on a national level? And is that something that precludes Boca from finding ways to make properties more affordable?
Well, actually, it doesn't. And Boca Raton has made great strides in the last year and a half to deal with affordability. We've implemented affordable housing in different parts of our city and given developers incentives to build affordable housing. It's a direct contrast from what Mamdani is trying to do in New York, which is prevent the private sector from building housing and thinking that government's going to build it all and then constraining supply. That doesn't work. That only increases prices because demand is still there and supply is constrained. In Boca Raton, we've made some targeted efforts to increase affordability by having affordable housing. We've also doubled the housing available through our partnership with the Boca Raton Housing Authority, which is a federally funded group, a federally funded housing authority, and they're now doubling the low-income housing that's available in our city. But we want to make sure life is affordable for all of our residents. It's part of a regional effort, because affordable housing just over our city's border helps people still live nearby and commute here. And finally, we tackle affordability by having the lowest property tax rate of any full-service city in Florida. There's a lot of conversation about property tax abolition. I'm not sure if that's going to come to fruition. There'll be some changes in the margin, but meanwhile, we have lowered the tax rate consistently year after year and still have the lowest property tax rate of any full-service city in Florida.
You know,
nationally, though. Oh, sorry. Nationally, though, mayors throughout America, we focus on affordability by creating a great climate where innovators can come in and create jobs, where you cut regulation and let the private sector take the way. And I think doing those things and creating a climate where people can flourish and provide new housing stock and keep jobs plentiful, that helps deal with affordability. And again, what President Trump has done with one big, beautiful bill will have a direct impact. No taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime. Those are going to have direct impacts next year in so many millions of people's pockets.
You know, just everybody in real estate, me, myself being in real estate for the last 30 years, we're taught everything real estate is local. Define affordability, because it's a big word that encompasses things, but what may be affordable in Idaho may not be affordable in Boca. So how are different mayors defining affordability?
I think you have to define it based on the average median income for households in the region. That's what we use in Florida as our standard for whether housing qualifies as affordable or not. We know markets vary. One other thing we're trying to do is increase wages by creating more high-paying job opportunities for residents in our city. I'm very proud that Boca Raton has more than half the corporate headquarters of all of Palm Beach County, 40 publicly traded corporate headquarters, and lots of job opportunities. Young people have been continuing to flock here and finding that they can earn a great living at an early age and then provide the opportunities for them to, cement their roots in a community. But I think, again, it goes back to what's happening at the federal level. The Fed needs to get inflation down. It needs to unleash the power of the economic engine of the United States. Energy policies are dramatically reducing costs across the board. It's not just the fact that gas is more than $1 cheaper than it was under President Biden, but the cost of petroleum goes into every product we buy and every product that you're moving. That's basically everything. Mm-hmm. So what we're doing by having more energy independence here in the United States is helping affordability. These are problems in just the 10 months in office and continue to see gains that I think will really start showing up in 2026 when this new tax law kicks in.
Everyone's familiar or should be familiar with the FHA programs that allow for first-time home buyers, and the limits go depending upon location. Is that something that possibly Scott Turner can raise the limits so that a first-time home buyer who wants to buy something in Boca isn't precluded by the limits of the FHA program?
Yes, absolutely. And again, Secretary Turner and HUD and the whole administration have been doing great work there. One of the things that's not seen in the One Big Beautiful Bill was the expansion of the Opportunity Zone program. That's had a dramatic impact. That's really unleashed new housing, new economic revitalization in so many communities. This latest wave has a new opportunity for more opportunity zones in rural areas as well. So you're combining both urban and rural areas, and a dramatic expansion, which over time will, and I think in short order, cause new investment to come into new opportunities, more housing being built. That provides more affordable housing opportunities too, and a lot of jobs to go with it.
You know, one of the things I personally was involved in and would love to see more of is about 3 or 4 years ago, I was buying property in what you guys may not know watching, but it's an area called Chatham and Villa Rica, which is East Boca, along US 1, just west of US 1. And there are houses in there that are probably built 1970s, 13, 14, 1500 square feet. Buying them, demolishing them, and then rebuilding more houses. Great business model, but again, that could preclude a lot of people from getting into a first-time home situation. What can we do about inner city, I guess, if you want to call it that, redevelopment of neighborhoods with properties that people could buy that more fit their needs today? I guess we call it updating older properties. Is there going to be some sort of initiative to facilitate that?
Different mayors across the country are looking at different proposals. Again, a lot of it is locality based. You mentioned two of our great historic neighborhoods in Boca Raton, some dating back actually to the 1950s there. We still have lots of stock here. And I admit, Boca Raton is not as affordable as other communities. We are generally a little more affluent. We've had a lot of success over the decades, but that's why we're focusing on what we can do at sea level to affordable housing. We've allowed more multifamily units to come in really to help, companies attract great talent. Maybe someone from college isn't ready. If they're a single person, isn't ready for a single family home of their own or a multi-bedroom home. So we've increased our stock there, affordable housing, but it happens jurisdiction by jurisdiction. And the important thing are mayors will work with community, cut taxes, cut regulation, allow streamlining to let building processes go forward. I'm happy in Boca Raton, we've had more than 20 streamlining initiatives over the last 6 years, but we still kept our charm and our character as primarily a single family residence community, even with new multifamily coming in targeted areas to work with businesses.
Yeah, the whole urban infill idea, which I learned basically from living in Jupiter and seeing what they did there, was amazing by building that whole Abacoa area because they've had that extra land. And then here, I love what you're doing, which is a lot of people don't talk about. So, where I was living, you had a development called Merida where the opening price was $2 million on a home, and then Lotus Edge, which is 1.6. And most people would go, there's no way anybody can afford that. But what you've been doing, you're bringing in business. And so the business will then employ people throughout the area, whether they live in Boca proper or they live in Deerfield or whether they live in Boynton, they could still work in Boca. So how did you decide that was going to be something that you were going to do, go after corporations and bring business back here?
Well, we've had a strong business presence in Boca Raton for generations. In fact, IBM had its R&D labs here starting in the 1960s. Most people don't know that the IBM personal computer, which really put personal computers on everyone's desktop, the first mass market computer, was invented in Boca Raton, not in Silicon Valley. That was invented here in 1981. And we've had a tradition of innovation in tech that fueled our strong business presence. That's why we're the economic engine of Palm Beach County. Mm-hmm. I just look to accelerate that. You mentioned that I started my career in New York, but I'm a South Florida native. I grew up in Fort Lauderdale. I spent a lot of time at Boca Raton and frankly wanted to live here as a kid. It was just more beautiful. The parks were a little bit nicer. Everything seemed a little bit nicer. When I wanted to raise my family, we decided let's go to Boca Raton. And I wanted to ensure that as I was building my career, that my kids wouldn't have to face the same choice I did in the 90s, which is thinking South Florida was not the place for them to start their career. We want to ensure that happens. So we've continued to attract jobs. And by focusing on that, it provides more opportunity for everyone. And that's why we're trying to do other things at the margins.
So you got a little bit controversial when you took out the billboard in Times Square, basically when Mondami was running for mayor. How did that work out?
It's worked out tremendously. So we were fortunate enough to get a lot of media right after the Mondani primary win in June. I had an interview with Boca Raton-based Newsmax, and that caught viral, and it spawned a few other news interviews because I was one of the first mayors talking about the contrast between New York-style governance under a socialist mayor and what you'd be seeing in our cities. And we rode that wave a little bit. We had an offer from a billboard company for a severely discounted rate. Our city management decided to plug ahead with that. We tied that into launched a campaign, ny2boca.com, targeted again at job creators and business relocations. We know lots of people want to be in Florida. We know lots of people are going to be fleeing Mamdani and these bad policies that are likely to come and increase crime and taxes. We can't accommodate all of them in Boca Raton. We're not looking to grow our population dramatically. We've had strategic investment to try to attract businesses here and really measured growth. As Florida's population has grown dramatically, Boca Raton's has grown more modestly, and that's by design. But we continue to reach out to markets, and we've been doing this for years. We've had targeted partnerships to attract job creators from New York, Chicago, San Francisco, and other markets. Wow. It's working out. We've had strong response, and it's a long-term thing. Not everyone is going to pack up and, get the moving boxes all packed and all the moving trucks the day after the November win, but we're continuing to get our message out there. It's been responsive, and that NY to Boca campaign had thousands of people looking at our website just within the first few days, inquiries from businesses in 10 different states, and we have job incentives aside from our lowest property tax rate in the state and no income tax that are attracting job creators here. We want to ensure that we have opportunities for everyone to live in Boca Raton and start and have a great career here.
How have your other South Florida brethren mayors reacted to the whole Mamdani thing up in New York?
We're seeing everyone follow, I can't say follow our lead, but we've had other people advertising in Times Square, whether it's the city of Miami Beach, Palm Beach County's Business Development Board, the Council of the 100, which is a business group statewide, have all looked at targeting New York as we have for years. So I think we're all on board just presenting that there are better ways to do business and better ways to live than jurisdictions that are going to look to tax and raise taxes, including a 17% marginal rate on job creators. That's crazy. People don't, I think some people have the idea that you can just tax and tax and tax and people don't vote with their feet. They will. And they've been moving to Florida and other places. And we're again trying to create jobs in Boca Raton. And my other mayors are trying to do the same things in their cities.
A lot of people accuse me of living in a bubble, that South Florida isn't like what's going on in other areas. How can you react to that? Because we're seeing this bubbling up, per se, of the socialist mindset in some of these cities. What are you guys going to do to make sure that doesn't happen here?
Well, I think people who are message, who've been voting with their feet over the last 7 years are proving that they're coming because of good policy. Florida used to have an advantage automatic registration statewide. In the last 7 years, it's a net gain of 1.7 million more Republican registered voters than Democratic voters. So people who are saying, people are going to come and vote like liberal and, take the socialist policies from other cities they're fleeing, the stats have totally contradicted that. They're showing that people are coming here for the economic freedom, the better quality of life, the lower taxes, lower regulations, and they're voting accordingly. And that's why you've had such a growth in Republican votership.
Is the tax thing here, the way, Ron DeSantis is talking about doing away with property tax? One of the big questions people have is, how are you going to pay for stuff if you keep reducing taxes? And it's one thing for, a podcaster to say this is how it works, but from it being in the actual local government, how is the city and how are the county and different locations throughout Florida able to do this when everybody else has to keep raising taxes?
Well, again, I think it's just continued success. If you continue to attract businesses there, it keeps an economic climate that keeps taxes low for homeowners. And that's why I keep talking about why we're trying to attract businesses here. We maintain that low tax rate because we have such a strong business presence. They're able to, they're not homesteaded. So while homesteaded residents in Florida only have their property taxes capped at 3% per year per increase, no matter even if their homes go up 10, 8, whatever, 12%, it's 3%. Businesses don't have that, so they bear a little more of the tax burden that keeps taxes low. In Boca Raton, again, I'll say it a third time, lowest property tax rate of any full service city. We really focus on governance issues and not other issues that are fluffy. We've never had DEI, ESG, other incentives, other programs that bring up the cost of services. We focused on delivering world-class services cost effectively. And I think other governments who've had more fluff are now having to take a look at what they can cut. We still want to make sure we handle the basics and handle them excellently. Water, sewer, police, fire, sanitation, parks, libraries, beaches, traffic signals, innovation, so much more. And we keep doing that. And I think you're going to have a choice between cities that you have to tax, you have to do it the hard way, you have to have all these programs that are duplicative and wasteful, or you have cities like ours and so many across America that are focused on getting the stuff done that we need get done and allow the private sector to flourish.
Oh, absolutely. And again, it's like a microcosm. People don't see how things actually work down here. We're not that far from Miami. And in Miami, Little Havana, these people know what socialism and communism is like. Is there anything, what I haven't noticed is I don't see many people amplifying the voices of people who actually have gone through this already, who had to escape it. What would you say to that?
Well, okay, looks like I'm going to have to jump because the boss is finally taking the stage.
Well, this is a nice crowd. You got a lot of people. You've got a lot of people standing outside tonight. It's freezing. They got here yesterday like at 2 o'clock in the morning or something. Well, I'm worried about them. Would anybody like to give up your place? Let some people come in from the cold. You go out to the cold. I don't think so. I just want to say hello, Pennsylvania, and I'm thrilled to be back in this incredible Commonwealth with so many proud, hard-working American patriots. That's what you are. So am I. I'm a proud, hard worker. I'm a proud patriot, but you're a proud patriot. Thank you very much, everybody. It's a great reception. You know, we're on to expose what happened recently when we took over. You know, it's 10 months. And already we have the largest investment ever made in the history of, not our country, of any country anywhere in the world. Think of that. But let me begin by wishing each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all of that stuff. Remember when I started in 2015, I made my first speech, and I said, we're going to bring back Christmas. Remember, the radical left wanted to get rid of the word Christmas. I said, I don't think that's going to work out. And we did it, and now everybody's saying Merry Christmas again. But just over 1 year ago today, with your help, we saved America. That's what happened. We saved it. In the most important election victory possibly in the history of our country was going down. We were a country that was being scoffed at, laughed at all over the world. We won all 7. Thank you, Charlie. She said, and you saved us. Who are you? Stand up, please. Who said that? I love her. Only in Pennsylvania can this happen. I know this state. By the way, last election, did we kick ass in Pennsylvania? We won. That means we won 3 times in a row, as you know. But we won all 7 swing states. We won the Electoral College, 312 to 226. We won, and by the way, the real vote was much more than this, but we wanted to make it too big to rig. We won the popular vote for the first time of any Republican in many decades, and we won 86% of all counties in America, 2,700 to 525. That's good. We did it. Not me, we did it. And now, after just 10 months in office, I'm pleased to report that America is winning again, Pennsylvania is prospering again, and I will not rest until this Commonwealth is wealthier and stronger than ever before. Remember when Biden got up and called you a state? That was not good. He said, it's great to be back in this state. Oh, where are we? Where are we? What state is it? It's Pennsylvania. Oh, okay. Now, we're respected again as a country. We're respected. Since my inauguration, we've created nearly 60,000 new Pennsylvania jobs, including 4,000 Pennsylvania manufacturing jobs that the Democrats gave up on. You're doing better than you've ever done. Under our leadership, more than 40,000 Pennsylvanians have been lifted off of food stamps. 40,000. And working with a great guy, remember David McCormick? He used to go to every rally I had. He knew what was happening. And he's here again, as usual. I can't get rid of this guy. Where is he? He got a little lucky, though. You know, in Butler, a place called Butler, Pennsylvania. I love Butler, Pennsylvania, but it was amazing. And we had a tremendous crowd, like 55, 60,000 people. Then I called David. I said, David, come on up. He was working like hell to get elected. It was a tough race. And very few people could have done what he did. But I said, right at the beginning of the speech, I said, David, come on up. Come on up. I want to, this was before the thing happened. And then I looked up and I said, you know what, David, just stay there. I'll get you later. You're so lucky, David. You're so lucky. You don't know. I could have had a little differently shaped ear if it weren't for you. You know, you got very lucky that day. People don't talk about that, but I remember I called him up and I said, just stay there. Because he was walking a little bit slowly. I didn't want to take the time. Oh, boy, that was a good day for you. What a job he did. He's really a great guy. And his wife, Dina, is fantastic. Thank you. Stand up, brother. He's a lucky man. Working with Senator David McCormick, we've secured commitments for nearly $100 billion of investments in Pennsylvania. We were up here a few months ago. Some of the greatest energy companies in the world made that. We were doing it on a beautiful day. A little warmer than it is outside today, David. But over $100 billion, and we've saved a great American company. You know, we saved, this little group of people and me, saved a little company called U.S. Steel. And it's hot as a pistol now. And we have the keys to the company. It's always going to be here. It's never moving. They said, what happens if it moves to Japan? I said, you can't move a steel mill to Japan. You can move a headquarters, but the steel mill stays here. That's all that matters. And I will tell you, the company is spending billions and billions of dollars, and there was no second by comparison. Other companies were interested, and they really are. They call me all the time, tell me they're really excited about it. And, you know, they're building a lot of additional plants. It's turning out to be beyond what anyone thought possible, but we had to save U.S. Steel. U.S. Steel was one of the greatest companies, which really, for a long period of time, years ago, the greatest company anywhere in the world. U.S. Steel was, you see it with the big factories that were, 2 years ago. Now it's starting to fill up. The tariffs have filled it up because people are coming here. Other steel companies are coming to Pennsylvania now because they don't want to spend 100%, 50%, 25% of tariffs are all coming in. It's amazing. You know, the word, remember when I said tariff? My favorite word is tariff. True. But then I got a lot of heat from the fake news. Look at all of them back there. I took a lot of heat. I got up early on. I said my favorite. It's turning out, you know, tariffs are bringing us hundreds of billions of dollars. I just helped our farmers out because they're starting to do really well. But in order to try and negotiate, some countries played a little cute, and we just gave them right out of a tariff money. Cost us nothing. Right out of the hundreds of billions that we've taken in, we gave the farmers a little help, $12 billion, and they are so happy. And all they want is a level playing field. And now it's happening. and the tariffs are making them rich. It's going to be, you're going to see what happens over the next 2 years. It's like a miracle is taking place. But we've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars, really trillions. Scott, we have the great Scott Bessent. Scott, stand up. And if you add to that all of the companies that are pouring their money to building plants in Pennsylvania and many other states, auto plants, AI plants, plants of every type, which we would have never had if we didn't put the tariffs on. Did you see where Europe now is saying, I think we got to start doing what Trump is doing. We've got to start putting on tariffs because we're getting our asses kicked. And it's true. But Scott, if you really think about it, it's trillions of dollars, not billions of dollars, right? So it's amazing. It's the smart people understand it. Other people are starting to learn. But the smart people really understand it. 1 year ago, under Sleepy Joe Biden, have you heard of him? You know, okay, look, the King of Saudi Arabia told me this. He said, sir, 1 year ago, I was in Saudi Arabia. Somebody complained that I was making a foreign trip. I went to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and UAE. I brought back $4 trillion. They said, he should be traveling. He should focus on home. What the hell do you think I'm doing? And 250 Boeing jets. I brought back so much everything. Then they say, he should, you know, the stupid people, they say, he shouldn't be leaving our country. Yeah, let's sit around and twiddle our thumbs. It's, no, it's sort of crazy, right? But 1 year ago, the King of Saudi Arabia said it. He said, sir, 1 year ago, you were a dead country. Dead. They were focusing on China. They were looking for, you know, who's next on line, frankly. And he's a good man. And the Emir of Qatar said it. UAE said it. The big company, the big smart country said it. We were a dead country 1 year ago. We were dead as a doornail. We were going down the tubes. And now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. There's nobody close. Sure. And it's because of the election on November 5th, because that's when it started. You see what's happening with recruitment in the military. The enrollment is the highest we've ever had. And, you know, right before November 5th, we couldn't get anybody in the military. We couldn't get police. We couldn't get firemen. We couldn't get anybody. And after November 5th, that's when it started. Right now, we have the highest enrollment we've ever had, the greatest recruitment days we've ever had in the military. It's amazing. So it's November 5th, and it's also, again, it's a thing called tariffs. And I told you, I was about to say that, you know, because I love the weave. You know what the weave is? You go here, bing, 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 bing. You always have to get back to the right location. But otherwise, they'll criticize you for straying from the speech. By the way, if I read what's on the teleprompter, you'd all be falling asleep right now. But it's true. 1 year ago, and during periods of time, I'd say my favorite word is the word tariff. I love it more than any other word in the dictionary. And the fake news said, that's terrible. What about God? What about family? What about religion? What about your sons, your daughters? What about how terrible that's this? So I moved it back to 5th. I have it to 5th. And now I'm in no trouble with the fake news, you know? They say, what about religion? They always find, so you have to weave a little bit with the punches. You have to go, you know, the boxers, you got to go with the punches. But it's been amazing what's happened. And it's been amazing. It's a transformation of our country. I have the greatest oil man anywhere in the world. I see him sitting right there, Chris Wright. I was going to put a man, Doug Burgum, he's great, he's interior, and I said, Doug, I want you to go to Energy. You're really fantastic at Energy. Came from North Dakota, big fracking place. They done really a great job. He was a great governor, I would say, right? Really great, and a great person. He's doing a fantastic job. I said, I want you to head up Energy, sir. I'd be good, but I'll tell you, there's one man out there in the whole world. There's one man out there who would be better than me. Who is it? A man named Chris Wright. Who the hell is Chris Wright? Give me a break. I never heard of the guy. Well, you never heard. He's the biggest there is. He's the smartest there is. The greatest oil man in the world. Chris Wright. I said, I got to see this guy. And after about 2 minutes, I understood exactly what Doug was saying. So I said, okay, Doug, you'll go to Interior. You work with, because interestingly, Interior owns all the land that has the oil. And he has all the expertise that drills the oil. And they said, we'll do a friendly merger here. This is pretty good. And that's what we did. And we're right now drilling more oil than we've ever done ever before. Prices are way down. We just had 4 states. It was just reported that 4 states had $1.99 a gallon. Right? We're sawmaking. So I want to introduce Chris Wright. Stand up, Chris. Who would think, you look at him, he's a nice looking guy and all that. Who would think he's rated, he's the most talented oil guy. He can put his nose on the ground and tell you whether or not there's oil. Other people have to spend billions of dollars on machinery and equipment, and it doesn't work. So I want to thank you. You're doing a great job. And is it true? We are right now, energy overall, not only the oil and gas, we are right now involved in more energy and have more energy in the works by far than we've ever had before. Is that right? Yeah. Not even close. Yeah. And I have no higher priority than making America affordable again. That's what we're going to do. And again, they caused the high prices and we're bringing them down. It's a simple message. If I had one message tonight, this is being covered like all over the world. This is crazy because I haven't made a speech in a little while. When you win, you say, I can now rest. So Susie Trump, do you know Susie Trump? Sometimes referred to as Susie Wiles. Susie Trump. She's the great chief of staff at they don't use the word chief of staff anymore because of the Indians got extremely upset. But now the Indians actually want their name used, which is true. They never didn't want it used. But the chief of staff, and she's fantastic, she said, we have to start campaigning, sir. I said, I won. What do I have to do already? They said, we have to win the midterms, and you're the guy that's going to take us over the midterm. Where's Susie? Susie, come on, Susie. Look at Susie. Susie's the greatest. And who do we see there? We even brought our superstar today, Caroline. Stand up, Caroline. Isn't she great? Is Caroline great? When she goes on television, Fox, they dominate. They dominate when she gets up there with that beautiful face and those lips that don't stop, up, like a little machine gun. She's got no fear. You know why she has no fear? Because we have the right policy. We don't have men in women's sports. We don't have to sell men in women's sports. We don't have to sell transgender to everybody. We don't have to sell open borders where the whole world is allowed to come into our country from prisons and everywhere else. So she's got a little bit easier job. I wouldn't want to be the other side's press secretary, right? Thanks, Carolyn. Great job. We appreciate it. But that's our message. They gave you high prices. They gave you the highest inflation in history, and we're bringing those prices down rapidly. Lower prices, bigger paychecks. You're getting lower prices, bigger paychecks. We're getting inflation. We're crushing it. And you're getting much higher wages. The only thing that's really going up big, it's called the stock market and your 401ks. That's going up. But I say it, and I said it the other day, and a lot of people misinterpret it. They say, he doesn't realize prices are high. Prices are coming down very substantially. But they have a new word. They always have a hoax. The new word is affordability. So they look at the camera and they say, This election is all about affordability. Now, they never talk about it. They never talk. Thank you very much. They say I'm not allowed to run. I don't know what the hell that's all about, but that's okay. He said 4 more years. You see the new hat? We have 4 more years. 2028. We have all sorts of... Well, you know what? We have 3 years and 2 months to go. And you know what that is in Trump time? 3 years and 2 months is called eternity. We have a long time. We have a long time. But under Biden, real wages plummeted by $3,000 a year. Under Trump, the typical factory worker has already seen their wages increase by more than $1,300, and that's in just a few months. And for construction workers, it's $1,800 up versus $3,500 down, and I think their number is wrong. It's much lower than that. For miners, do we love miners? I love miners. I don't know how they do it, going 10,000 feet under the ground, and they wouldn't trade jobs with me. If I gave them a beautiful, magnificent penthouse in the middle of Manhattan, where I used to live, if I gave them the most beautiful penthouse, they wouldn't take it. They'd rather go 10,000 feet underground and dig. That's what they want. For miners, their wages went up $3,300, and we're bringing back coal. But my administration cannot talk about anything else except when they say the word coal, they have to precede the word by 2 words: clean, beautiful. So we only call coal clean, beautiful coal. Is that right, fellas? Because coal needs a little public relations help. It's a very powerful fuel. It's used by China. You know, China makes all our windmills, but they don't have any wind farms. It's a little interesting, isn't it? Wind is the worst. That's a scam. They ruin your valleys. They ruin your peaks. And the most expensive energy, the only ones that get rich are the developers who make a fortune. You have to change your windmills. And most of them are made in China, but China has very few wind farms. You know why? Because they're smart. You know what they do have? A lot of coal. They love coal. So that's okay. But we have clean, beautiful coal, and we brought it back into vogue. We have nuclear, we have oil and gas, we have sort of everything. We don't approve windmills. We don't approve it, I'm sorry. We don't like things that kill all our birds. And that every time you put one up, only the guy that owns it makes a lot of money. Those guys, what a joke. And they are ugly, you're right, sir. But Democrats talking about affordability is like Bonnie and Clyde preaching about public safety. And they are really truly the enemy of the working class when they do it, because we're going to have a great energy policy. You know, our oil prices are coming down very substantial, energy prices. And honestly, with that, everything comes down, because there's nothing nearly in the category of oil. You wouldn't even know what second is. There are seconds and thirds, but it's so far down the list we don't even talk about them. You get energy prices down, which we're doing. Again, the greatest amount of drilling, the greatest amount of fuel being produced right now in our country than ever before, by far. It's not even a contest. And when that happens, those prices come down. That's why you're seeing oil per barrel coming down nicely, very nicely. We don't want to go so rapidly because we want the people that produce it to keep producing it, but they're doing good. But it's amazing. But when energy comes down, your other prices come down too, all of your prices. And that's exactly, we inherited the highest prices ever, and we're bringing them down. We inherited the worst inflation in the history of our country. Think of that. And we're bringing them down rapidly. Their entire agenda is about robbing working people to fund their far-left cronies and give lavish benefits to foreign migrants and illegal aliens. You can't do it. Look, we all have a heart. We don't like what's happening. But, you know, when they allow them to come in, we have a border that, by the way, they don't talk about the border. Why don't you talk about the border anymore? The border is, for months, it's closed. Actually, their people, because they're radical left. Their people, radical left, they rate the border and everything. You know how many people came into the border over the last 7 months? You know what it is? Zero. Except for the ones that came in legally, right? Legally. When Biden and congressional Democrats had power, they blew up our economy, sent prices soaring. Look, the poor guy, he didn't know what the hell was happening. Okay, I'm sorry. It wasn't him. It was the lunatics that circled. Yeah, it was the auto pen. You're right. I can't believe I didn't say that. I hate when you beat me to the punchline. I would not have. Well, I'll tell you, I'll give the fake news a little breaking news. So I believe, and I may be correct, but we're checking this. We have a bad head of the Fed. Bad. We're going to be making a change. Fortunately, this guy's out. But we have 4 members appointed by Sleepy Joe Biden. Which is better, Sleepy Joe or Crooked Joe? Historically, when I've done polls, from people, I do my own polls. I go to a big arena. We have 20,000 people. I say, which you like, Sleepy Joe or Crooked Joe? And I learned, I save millions of dollars. I don't have to do any polling, okay? Typically, Crooked Joe wins. I'm surprised. Because to me, he's a sleepy son of a bitch, who destroyed our country. If we didn't come along, and it's not me, it's all of us. If we didn't come along, this country was destroyed, I'll tell you. It would have been destroyed. But now Democrats in Congress want to take us straight back to the Bidenomics. They don't change. And I don't really talk about it because, for instance, I watched a congressman the other day on a television show. They were interviewing a Democrat. He was fighting like hell for men to play in women's sports, okay? And I was going to put something out. I was going to he's a well-known congressman. And I said, let's save it about 2 weeks before the election. Right, David? We don't want to do it now. What the hell good does it do now? Let's save it for about 2 weeks because we don't want them to change. Just let them keep going. I think transgender for all is a great, great thing for the Democrats to be talking about. Transgender for every member in your family. If they're not feeling well that night, let's just change their sex. Now, let's not talk about it. Let them go and let them fight to get these things. I think open borders are great, where prisons are emptied into our country, right? Where people from all over the world being dumped into our country, the people that aren't wanted in their countries, by the way. I think that's a great, like Somalia. Welcome. Do we have any individuals from Somalia in the group? Please raise your hand. That's from Minnesota. That's called the Great Big Minnesota Scam with one of the dumbest governors ever in history. I love this Ilan Omar, whatever the hell her name is, with the little turban. I love her. She comes in, does nothing but bitch. She's always complaining. She comes from a country where, it's considered about the worst country in the world, right? They have no military, they have no nothing, they have no parliament. They don't know what the hell the word parliament means. They have nothing, they have no police. They police themselves, they kill each other all the time. I love it. She comes to our country, and she's always complaining about, the Constitution allows me to do this. We ought to get her the hell out. She married her brother in order to get in, right? She married her brother. Can you imagine if Donald Trump married his sister? Beautiful. She's a beautiful person. If I married my sister to get my citizenship, do you think I'd last for about 2 hours, or would it be something less than that? She married her brother to get in. Therefore, she's here illegally. She should get the hell out. Throw her the hell out. She does nothing but complain. So now, and we have our savior in this room. His name is Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent. Because that very handsome man, by the way, if you're picking the Secretary of the Treasury, is he like the perfect guy for a movie? He's made for the movie. Stand up, Scott. Look at him. No, he's central casting. He's central casting. But you don't, under that beautiful exterior is a killer. And here's what happened. He is in charge of the investigation of Somalia and the billions of dollars they have robbed from Minnesota, right? I hope you do your job. I hope you're not one of these Republicans where something comes up and they don't do what they should do because they're nicer people. You know, they're much nicer people than the Democrats, but Scott's actually not a nice person at all. So, Scott, you're in charge of that investigation? Okay, I'm not interfering at all. I'm just saying, please do a good job, honest and fair, right? Honest and fair. Oh, if he's honest and fair, you know what he's going to find? It's great. I'd love to have that job. They may switch jobs with you. I'd love to have that job. They're to get him the hell out of here. They hate our country. And she hates our country. And her friends hate our country. And AOC hates our country. They all do. And we have a new candidate in the great state of Texas, where I won Texas by more votes than anybody. And you have to understand, I'm being judged by these bad people back there, the fake news. So anything I say that's slightly off, I get like headlines. Donald Trump exaggerated, or Donald Trump lied. They give me Pinocchios, Washington Post, a Pinocchio. They lie every day. They give me a Pinocchio. But think of this. If I make even the slightest mistake, what they do is they go after me. Everything I say is correct. We have now a new candidate. I won Texas by the largest vote in the history of Texas 3 times, okay? I love Texas. Just like I love Pennsylvania, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Just like I love, honestly, every one of our states. I love all of our states. We've done so well. I love all of our states. What? By the way, is this a different country now than we had a year and a half ago? Right? What a difference. Crime is way down, despite the fact that we have many, bad people entered our country. Many of them are being taken out. Ultimately, they're all being taken out. Washington, D.C., we had a tragic incident, as you know, with the 2 incredible people. What a terrible thing that was just 2 weeks ago, right? Just a terrible National Guard, terrible thing. Sarah and Andrew. Sarah passed away. She's looking at us from heaven, from above, and she was killed almost instantly. They kept her alive. Her parents came from West Virginia, another great state. Her parents are incredible. They couldn't believe it. She was 20 years old. Perfect. She was just getting a little promotion. They were so proud of her. She was on her way up. And she was shot in the head, shot in the head. They were able to keep her alive long enough for her parents to come in from West Virginia and say goodbye to her. And Andrew is the second one, who's also from West Virginia National Guard, incredible people. And so they were both from West Virginia. And his mother's named Monica. And Monica's the most positive person I've ever seen. The night that he was so badly hit and the doctors gave him almost no chance, I called their hospital room and spoke to her. And she said, sir, he'll be fine. Oh, no, I'm telling you, I'm praying. The whole country is praying. Sir, I'm telling you, don't worry about it. He's going to be fine. This is the mother talking to me. And the father's like devastated. He's an incredible guy too, both. And I went and invited them to the Oval Office, and they came in. She said, sir, he's fine. It was amazing, actually. And today, Monica, she said, we're all praying, and I'm praying. And then she called to say, sir, he moved his finger today. This is like 3 days later. He moved his finger. And today I got a call that he got up from bed. Do you believe that? He got up. He got up. Now, he didn't speak. He's not ready for that yet. He got hit in the head. But he got up, and boy, they're so happy. It's amazing. And the care that they've given him at the hospital, and the generals that have been there, the military that's been there, it's amazing. General Seward and others that she said the level of love that your military has given to my boy. And by the way, Sarah's parents said the same thing. The love and the affection and the care that they're given, they can't even believe what's happened. But Andrew stood up today, and people even can't believe it. So the mother was amazing, and let's hope it continues. Look, it doesn't get much worse than what he did. Let's hope it continues. But that's an act of terrorism. This is a guy came from Washington, state of Washington, came across the country, and he wanted to kill people with the uniform. A whack job. Isn't it crazy? Think of it. He was also very badly injured. And they're fighting to save his life so that we can give him the death penalty. How crazy is that, right? They're fighting to save his life so that we can give him the death penalty. That's the way it really should work, right? The doctors have to do their job, and then the lawyers have to do their job. But it's an amazing country. Actually, Andrew's father said that. He said, they're fighting for him. I hope they save him, sir, because I hope he has to understand what he did, how bad it is. And he's going to, I think he will be saved, actually. It looks like they will save him. He wasn't as badly hurt as Sarah or Andrew, but isn't it an amazing thing? They're working so hard to save his life, and we're going to put him up for the death penalty. Amazing, huh? Only in America. That's only in America. You know, in one way, there's something beautiful about it. In another way, it's a little crazy, right? In my first term, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world. You know that. We had the greatest economy in history, even with the COVID came, and it really hurt the world. It was a gift from China, but China got hurt very badly, too. We're getting along with China. They're buying a lot of our soybeans. Keep buying those soybeans there. You know, you heard all about magnets and rare earth. They were great. I met with President Xi. Scott was with me, and we had a whole group. Marco was there, and Chris was there. We were all there, and we made incredible deals with China. We're getting along. Getting along is a good thing. You know, getting along is a good thing, not a bad thing. It's a smart thing, and they're buying literally trillions of dollars worth of our products and all of that. And we had a very good meeting. Remember, the whole world was going to shut down over rare earth. That was 2 months ago, and that worked out very well. It all works out well. If you have a smart president, it works out well. If you have a dummy, it doesn't work out. But we had a great economy. We had the greatest economy in our country's history, but we had what's called the greatest economy. This is the first term, probably ever, of any country. Now, in addition to that, we rebuilt our military. We got the biggest tax cuts ever. We got the biggest regulation cuts ever. We had the best job numbers. We had a great first term. Or frankly, to be honest with you, I wouldn't be standing here. Because if I had a bad first term, you know, you might say, I like him. He's really good. But we had a lousy first term. You're not going to vote. You voted for me because we had a great, despite all of the Russia bullshit, despite all of the impeachments, you know, think of it. The impeachments, all of the crap we had to go through with these crooked Democrats. They're crooked as you could be. They're bad people. They're sick people. But despite all of that, we had an amazing first term. Our second term is blowing it away. It's blowing it away. So we're doing it again, but bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. There's more work to do, but today, 22 states, we're setting 22 total. Is that right, Chris? That just came out, that statistic. We're down lower than we've been in 7 years. Gasoline prices and oil prices, not just the 3 states that I talk about with $1.99 a gallon. How would you like to have $1.99? You know, that's the equivalent of a very major tax cut. You know, when you get the energy prices down, it's really the equivalent, maybe even in many cases better than a big tax cut, which we gave you. We gave you the biggest tax cut ever in the first term. We then gave you, with the great big beautiful deal, which is phenomenal, we gave you something that's even better than we did. We gave you an extension of the biggest tax cuts and the biggest tax cuts ever, even bigger than the first term. And that's one of the reasons that your 401ks are through the roof. It's one of the reasons that the stock market is at the highest point. So rent prices are down, dairy prices are coming down very strongly. The cost of Thanksgiving turkeys was down by 33% compared to the Biden era. You know what you did during the Biden era for Thanksgiving? You said, oh my God, this is terrible. It was a rotten Thanksgiving. And Walmart, I thank them. You know, they came out with a big, like sort of a numbers thing, a chart, and they had it 25% less. So that's pretty good. A Thanksgiving meal with all of the trimmings is 25% less under Trump than it was a year ago under Biden. That's a good start. We're bringing it down, and we're coming down more. We're coming down a lot more. Takes a little time to come down. They were ruining. They're going to destroy our country. The cost of a Christmas ham, what? Don't forget who? Eggs. I'm getting to eggs. But you're right. Remember with eggs where I had my first news conference. 2 days went by and I had a news conference, right? Unlike Biden, 2 years go by, he still didn't have it. Remember? He'd walk off the stage. He's finished with his, sir, you finished with your speech. Now what? You finished what? And then he'd walk into a wall. What he did, and it wasn't him, it was some really smart, radical left lunatics. What they did to our country, we can never forget. We can never forget. But you remember the first eggs? We remember the first 3 days. I just got there. Sure, what's these people? 2 of them are there, right there. Look at all those cameras you got. You got a lot of television going. 2 of them were there. And I'm talking about, yes, I look forward to getting involved and doing great things. What about eggs? Eggs are down. They go, eggs. They said, the price of eggs is quadrupled. I said, oh, I didn't know that. Tell me about it. It's gone up like 4 or 5 times. Remember eggs right at the beginning? He's right when he says eggs. It went up like 4 times. It was like crazy. And they said, sir, don't buy. They came into the Oval Office. Sir, you know, we have an Easter egg hunt. It's like a thing for 150 years at the White House. Beautiful. They said, sir, we're going to buy plastic eggs this year. Plastic eggs. We don't have, enough eggs to go around for that. I said, you're going to buy regular eggs. And by the time Easter comes, we're going to have so many eggs, you're not going to know what to do. You're not buying plastic. And we didn't. And Brooke Rollins, our Secretary of Agriculture, did an incredible job. And eggs dropped like a rock. And we ended up buying a lot of eggs for a lot of. But the price of eggs is down now 80% since March. Think of that. And we have 2 price charts. Do you remember the last time I pointed to a chart? My all-time, I don't care what these charts say. My all-time favorite chart was the chart I had in Butler. I said, let's look at the chart. Ding, ding. I don't care how good that chart looks. It's shit by comparison to the one in Butler. It's nothing. I like the Butler chart. Remember, that was on how great employment was and all this. But I like it for other reasons. Look at that chart. It's good. But now I talk about the Butler chart, I don't even want to look at it. Doesn't mean anything. But look, Biden price increases and Trump price increases. Look at Biden. Up 37, 24%, 22, 21, 30.7, 30.7 again, 10.4%, 49%. Trump, The price is down 5.1, 4.2, 0.5, down 4%, 2 points, 2.9. Look at that. Our prices are coming down. Their prices, it's a hoax. They're just, remember they said the Inflation Reduction Act. Remember that? Billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. The inflation, and after they got it approved, because we had a few Republicans that went along with that whole hoax. And remember, we're going to pass the inflation. And I said, there's nothing to do with inflation reduction there. There's nothing to do with that. It has nothing, it had nothing to do with inflation either way, other than raising inflation, perhaps, because it was such a stupid. And then they admitted, they fought it like, oh no, this is inflation. After they got the thing passed, then they said, we agree, it has nothing to do with inflation. Screw you, we don't care. That's what it is. We're dealing with bad people. And the word affordability is the exact same thing. And I can't say affordability hoax because I agree the prices were too high, so I can't go to hoax because they'll misconstrue that. But they use the word affordability, and that's their only word. They say affordability. And everyone says, oh, that must mean Trump has high prices. No, our prices are coming down tremendously from the highest prices in the history of our country. And look at that chart. Let's see the next one. You have another one, I think, mortgage rates. Even with a lousy Fed chair. We have a lousy Fed chair. Oh, and by the way, it looks, you're going to have to check this, please. I just heard it could be that all 4 commissioners in the Fed signed by Biden, including Too Late. You know who Too Late is? Too Late, pal? Jerome Too Late. He's too late with his interest rates for a reason. He's a bad guy. He's not a smart guy, but he's a bad guy. Too Late. Is he going to lower rates a little bit, finally? Did you see where Jamie Dimon, respected guy, said, you got to get the rates down, you schmuck, you know? But I hear that the auto pen may have signed those commissions. If they signed those commissions, now maybe I'm wrong, but we're going to check. Have you checked that? Are you hearing it? Who signed it? Did he sign it or did the auto pen sign it? I'm hearing the auto pen. You know, you can't use the auto pen unless it's very strongly authorized, and unless you show you know what the hell you're doing, which is impossible of him to show. So, I don't know. I think it's something we have to look into. You put people there that are not authorized to be there. I know I signed Chris Wright. I signed everything, but I signed Chris Wright. If I gave you an auto pen, they could throw you the hell out of here, Chris. The difference is they would do it, you know? We try and be too nice. No, would you check that, Scott, okay? Because I'm hearing that the auto pen could have signed maybe all 4, but maybe a couple of them. We'll take 2. So look at that, Biden. I love that laugh. Who's the woman with that great hearty laugh? That's a woman that likes Trump. That's not beautiful. Anybody can laugh with that happiness. She likes Trump. He likes Trump, too, with the hat. Yes, that's right. Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you. So, Biden, new yearly mortgage cost increases, and Trump, new yearly. Look, we went down with our rates. They went up with their rates much. That's a lot. So, with us, you save $2,900, almost $3,000. And with them, you go up, it costs you $15,000. You don't hear that because the fake news doesn't tell you that. And these are charts. These are government charts. These are not made up by Donald J. Trump. These are government charts. Do you have a third chart? Because I like these charts very much. Not as much as Butler, but I like them. You have any other charts? Because so far they're playing quite well. Oh, look at that. Real wages. Look at that. Losses and Trump real wages gains for the typical worker. Wow. I mean, that's incredible, right? So look at the amount of loss, 18.5, 106. What the hell is that all about? Is that even possible? Biden food, oh, I see. No, that's the eggs. You move that chart very quickly. I said, what's going on with that chart? They did. That was Houdini did that. Because I was saying, boy, I really like the numbers having to do with real wages, but, you know, they played very well. But this plays very well, too. So you have Biden food price increases, Trump. Look at that. Look at that. So ours are decreases, all decreases, and they're moving down good. But look at AIDS, 106%, and we got them down 15%. Look at those numbers. But you don't hear that from the fake news. You don't hear that. What do you think of that, David? I think we're going to have to do something. You know, we should impeach him, but he's gone. I guess we can't, right? By the way, if it were up to them, numbers like that, they would have impeached. Those numbers are terrible, and those are government numbers. So thank you very much, everybody. It's good. We have a couple of other charts we're going to show you, too, that are just terrible. We're also working to bring down the cost of health care. Obamacare is a scam. Under Obamacare, trillions of dollars were given directly to health insurance companies. Their stocks are up 1,700% in a very short period of time. Would you say that's good? Obamacare's primary purpose was to pay off insurance companies. You know, the insurance companies back the Democrats very heavily. I want to give billions of dollars directly to the people. I want to take all of the billions and billions and actually trillions, but over a period of time. And I want to give all of that money we give to the big, fat, rich insurance companies. And I want to give them nothing. I want to give nothing to the insurance companies. I don't want to give all, because they're sucking our country dry with this scam by the Democrats. That was Obama, and I've always said it, Obamacare, but now you see the numbers because your premiums are going up on Obamacare and everything. It's forcing everything up. But we want the money go directly to the people. We want you to go out and buy your own health insurance, and you'll get much better health insurance at a much lower cost. Everybody knows this is the best way to go, but the Democrats, they're bought and owned by the insurance companies. So let's see how many of them have the guts to vote for this. You know, we're putting in bills where all of that money, hundreds of billions of dollars, goes to the people to go out and buy your own health care. And everybody's different. Some are young people, some are older people. It's a much different, really, set of criteria. In 4 years under Biden, Democrats secured less than $1 trillion in new investments in our country. Think of that, though. And we've done in 10 months, we've set the all-time country record by many times. I'm going to get the exact numbers many times. 18, what are we over 18, right around 18 trillion? We could hit $20 trillion in the first year with 10 months, 18 trillion versus less than 1 trillion. And I'll tell you what, it was going to go down if it wasn't going to be like even anything. It would have been negative because companies were pouring out of our country. The stock market is set 51. This is in less than 10 months. The stock market is set 51 all-time record highs. There's never been anything like that. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. It's set, think of that. It's set 51 all-time record highs in less than 10 months. That was as of about 3 weeks ago. Before I entered office, 100% of all new net jobs were going to migrant workers. Think of that. 100% of new jobs were going to migrant. These are government numbers, by the way. These are not Trump numbers. These are government numbers. Because they say, well, did Trump come up with these numbers? No, I didn't come up. I'm just... Migrant workers and illegal aliens got 100%. But since I took office, 100% of all net job creation has gone to American citizens. How about that? Now, how about that? Even I will give myself a hand. Now, think of it. 100% went to American citizens before 100% went to people that came into the country illegally. Again, many of them from prisons, many of them gang members, drug members, Tren de Aragua. More Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country. That's why when they ask about the economy, you know, you have fake polls. How's Trump doing? You hear these numbers. How's Trump doing on the economy? I was interviewed by a very hostile group today. I said, why am I doing these people? They're hostile. But they were relatively fair because they can't beat you. I don't mind. I can be interviewed by anybody. Were you concerned if you're doing badly, you don't want to be interviewed by bad people, but they can't do anything to you because the numbers speak. It was Politico. I did an interview today. It was a good interview because they have no ammunition. The one person said to me, it's unbelievable. Our economy is unbelievable. There's never been anything. But the Democrats go out, prices are too high. Yeah, they're too high because they caused them to be too high. But now they're coming down. One of the most important ways we're defeating inflation is by unleashing American energy, including oil, gas, and clean, beautiful coal right here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Did you know I went to school in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, right? The great Wharton School of Finance. I love the Wharton School. Became a little liberal, but these are minor details. But the Wharton School, one of the greatest schools in the world, I went here and loved it. I loved the school, and I loved Philadelphia. Philadelphia's gotten a little rougher, but we're going to take it. And you have a great football coach, and you have a great running back, Saquon. You know, I got to know Saquon a little bit. And my hand will never be the same. I patted him on the back. I said, Saquon, let's go. You're my partner today. Let's go win. Being off. Because it was like I hit a piece of steel. I said, what the hell is with you, Saquon? That's pretty. He's good. But he's a better football player than he is a golfer. Trust me. He's so strong. Those muscles. But his football is great. His golf will be very good. Very good. But we won. We won our match. And you do have a great coach. I was with you, Coach. I got a little streak going here, but that'll change. But he's a great coach. Well, you won the whole deal, right? I got to know him last year when he came to the White House, and I said, this guy's he's a real leader. The players loved him. And you had some players that are just, really just fantastic guys. But you have a good football team. It's really good to watch. But for 4 long years, Biden and the Democrats tried to endlessly kill Pennsylvania energy jobs. They worked so hard to kill the jobs. They wanted wind all over the place, Let's go buy those windmills for millions of dollars each from China. Every time it goes around, you lose $15. Did you know that? That's on average. You're supposed to make money with energy. You're not supposed to lose money with energy. And everybody that's doing wind is in virtual bankruptcy right now. If you look at UK, I told he's a nice man, Starmer, Prime Minister. I said, you have a great energy source in the North Sea. Use it, or you're not going to be in office very long. Their energy prices, they're putting wind all over Scotland, all over the most beautiful fields in the world, Scotland. All over beautiful. Oh, we have some Scottish people here. Where the hell did you come from? We have Scottish people. But they're putting wind all over Scotland. The people are not thrilled with it. And it's costing them a fortune. They have the most expensive energy. And I said, I'm going to do you a favor. You could be there for a long time. Open up the North Sea oil. One of the greatest oil. And, they like to say, well, it's very well depleted. No. It's good for another 500 years, and they haven't even found most of it yet. And if you look at Norway, they have a section of the North Sea, which in theory isn't as vibrant, and it's a very rich country. They have a tremendous worth because of the North Sea. But UK has to, if they don't go back to oil, I think a lot of bad things are happening to Europe. That their immigration policies are so bad. Is so bad. They're destroying our beautiful Europe. I love Europe. They're destroying Europe, and they better do something. I'll give them just some free advice. I'm focused here, but I give them free advice. They better be careful because immigration and energy are going to destroy Europe. On day one, I ended the war on Pennsylvania energy. I just terminated something that was insane. And we all love Elon. Elon was up here campaigning, right? But I said, Elon, I think electric cars are great, but not everybody wants an electric car. And I ended the insane electric vehicle mandate where everybody was supposed to have Everybody was supposed to have an electric car by the year like 2030 or some ridiculous year like that. It's just not going to be that way. I don't think it'll be some like hybrids, some kind of like gasoline powered. I mean, the nice thing about gasoline is we have 2,000 years worth of we have more gasoline, we have more oil and gas than any country anywhere in the world. Is that right? And they want us to go to batteries. Let's go to batteries. We don't have battery content. So let's go to batteries, according to these morons that were in our country. Let's not use oil and gas, which we have more than any country in the world. Let's go to batteries. Well, we have to go to the Congo and get it from China. But I actually stopped the war with Congo and Rwanda, and they said to me, please, please, we would love you to come and take our minerals, which we'll do. But I stopped the Green New Scam. It's a total scam. And, you know, we had, they used to call it global warming. Then they called it 15 other things, and none of them worked. So they came up with climate change, remember? Climate change. Because you can't go wrong with climate change if it goes up. Remember, global warming, and then the temperature started going down like a rock. Remember? Remember? We had global warming, and they sent that big, beautiful ship with all scientists on it. And it went into deepest Alaska. It went up through the ice. And the global warming, it was getting so warm. Except, unfortunately, they had a bad few weeks. It got so cold that the ice just crushed the ship. We had to take those poor bastards out by helicopter. The scientists, they said, one guy was petrified of helicopter. He said, I have a choice, go down in the ice with the ship or go in a helicopter. He chose the helicopter. He made it. But we have a very simple policy, right, Chris? Drill, baby, drill. We have a simple policy. And natural gas production is booming. Coal mining is up by 2.4 million tons a month. And we're also reviving Pennsylvania manufacturing. And with our historic tariffs, steel production is roaring back. We're building steel mills all over the country. And U.S. Steel is coming back at a level never thought possible before. And I was up. And I was up here and with the workers and with Selena. Do you know Selena? Does everybody know? And with some other people. We were up with some great people, and we spent the whole day, and they were determining whether or not they want to make which one of the deals. I went to the workers. I said, which one do you like? We picked the right one. As I said before, billions of dollars they're spending. And the steel workers are doing phenomenally better. I think you're going to do better than you've ever done before. You were losing all of your steel. If we didn't have tariffs, you would have no steel. We wouldn't have one steel mill anywhere in the United States. And that would be really bad for, Scott, national security. The one thing you need steel. You know, you can give up certain products. You can give up pencils. That's under the China policy. You know, every child can get 37 pencils. They only need one or two. You know, they don't need that many. But you always need steel. You don't need $37 for your daughter. 2 or 3 is nice, but you don't need $37. So we're doing things right. We're running this country right. We're also putting thousands of dollars in the pockets of hardworking Pennsylvanians with the largest tax cuts in American history. That's no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our great seniors, no tax. And all of that kicks in on January 1st. You know, it hasn't kicked in yet. I mean, we're doing great, and it hasn't kicked in yet, and it's amazing. And it's one of the reasons they said, sir, would you mind going on the trail? And I actually like it, you know. I have fun. I haven't read practically anything off the stupid teleprompter. And then my speechwriters they're getting awards for some of the finest speeches, and I haven't even read them. And the award for the finest writer in the history of speechmaking, Ross. Where are you, Ross? Are you here, Ross? Where the hell is Ross? Ross, are you here? Look, first time I've ever introduced him. Ross, get over here. I got it. He's a young, handsome man. He's the greatest. Thank you, Ross. Very low-key guy. Thank you. Look at Ross. He's so shy. I can't believe it. We're joined today by Donna Zajac, a mom and a waitress of over 45 years who lives in Stroudsburg. Does everybody know where Strouds? I know where it is. Because of no tax on tips, Donna estimates she will keep hundreds of additional dollars every single month, and she'll put all of that money toward her daughter's dream of becoming a veterinarian. That's a good, right? That's a good thing. Are you here, Donna? Where's Donna? Oh, come on up, Donna. Come on. Come on. You want, say a few words. Look how beautiful she is. She stood up. She wasn't supposed to come up, but when I looked at her, I said, come on up, Donna. Look how beautiful she is. You're not allowed to say that anymore. You know, in politics, if you say somebody's beautiful, that's the end of your political career. I say, I don't care. I don't care. Come on up, Donna.
What do you want me to say?
Yeah, just say whatever. This is always dangerous.
Thank you, Trump. Thank you to President Trump for having me. This is like my sister dream, but I love you too. My sister Ann loved you too. But yes, with that money, that would help me with my daughter's tuition. Yes, make it a lot easier.
Big difference,
for sure. Yeah, we love it. Thank you. Thank you.
A star is born. That's all I say. A star is born. Is your sister here? Is your sister here, Donna? Are you? Oh, hello. How are you? Good family. Well, thank you. Thanks, Donna. That's beautiful. Also with us is Marine Corps veteran Sean Downey, who now serves as a firefighter and a local first responder. Sean worked over 400 hours of overtime. That's a lot. And thanks to no tax on overtime, he'll take home thousands of dollars extra, which he plans to use to buy your first home. And thank you. Where's Sean? Good, Sean. Good. So you're going to use that money well, right? That was not an easy one to get approved. You know, it all went through Congress. I had to really push hard. I was not nice. I was not nice to get you that money, but you're going to use that money to get a house, right? A first house? Good. Well, you have a great future. Thank you very much. And here as well is Megan Hemhauser from Cresco, Pennsylvania. Megan's husband works 10 to 15 hours of overtime a week operating heavy equipment while she bartends and waits tables at night and homeschools her two children during the day, getting more and more prevalent. Homeschooling getting more and more. It's happening. That's okay. It's good. But thanks to no tax on tips and no tax on overtime, more than a quarter of their income will be tax-free. Megan, do you want to come up? Come on, Megan. Come on up.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you so much. As President Trump said, I'm a mom, a wife. I homeschool my two brilliant children. And the no tax on tips is incredible. No tax on overtime is incredible for my husband. And it all comes back to our family. It saves us, and it's for the future of our children. And it's been such a blessing to be home with them and to have them here with me tonight. And thank you for everything, President.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to see that. I want to show you. You know what's great? So she had these notes, right? Not notes, it's a speech. She never even looked at it. She was great. It's much better when you don't have to read it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. So I just thought, great job. That's a great job.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's great. Never looked at the notes. She never looked at those notes. That's pretty cool. I have a lot of professionals sitting right here. They'll get up and read a speech. But Megan didn't have to do that. Another key part of our tax cuts is known as Trump accounts. Under this new program, the federal government will be creating an investment savings account for every single newborn American child with $1,000 to be invested and grow over the course of their life, right at the beginning of birth. Friends, family, employers, and loved ones will be able to add thousands of dollars a year, and it's like a trust fund for every American child. It's going to be something, and it's really exciting. And I want to thank Michael Dell and his beautiful Dell computer. Go out and buy a Dell computer. He got it started. He put up $6.25 billion. And he started with nothing. Think of that. And he just put that up. $6.25 Michael Dell, thank you wherever you may be. Michael is probably in Texas watching us right now. And his beautiful wife, they're a great couple. His wife is incredible. Every single Democrat in Congress voted against these unbelievable benefits for American families. Why would you vote against? Money is being put up. Big money is being put up. And you know, these kids, when they get to be 18, 20, 21, 30, 35 years old, they could have $100,000, $200,000. And they're going to be rich. I mean, they're going to feel rich. And they're going to be watching it grow. And they may be helping it grow. Who knows? You never know. But it's going to teach them. It's going to be a great thing. This was Michael and some other people's ideas. They wanted to do this. And they spoke with their wallet, too. They put up a tremendous amount of money. So I just want to thank Michael Dell, his wife and family, and everybody else that was with us the other day. It was a big day, and it's a big event. But we're joined today by some of your representatives who voted to put more money in your pockets. And these are great people. And I introduced David. I'm going to ask him to stand up again, because David McCormick is a really great man in the truest sense. He won a race. You know, he really did well the first time too, but some bad things happened, right? And very few people are willing to do that again. And to be honest, if he would have lost, I know his wife. She's a beautiful woman, extremely into the social scene, but respected by everybody. She would have left him if he lost. And I told him that. Dina would have left him. She's that way. Hey, we can't help it. That's the way she is. So I said, David, you're taking a big risk if you run again, because if you lose twice, your wife is leaving you. And he wasn't worried. Stand up. David McCormick. Yeah. He was so great. He followed me every single time I spoke. He was there, and he got up and he'd speak. And I'll tell you, we had big crowds, David, and the audience listened to you. In fact, they liked him more than they liked me in some cases. I was thinking about, let's keep him off the stage. But they really loved you. And you've been a great senator. And you have a great wife. Thank you very much. Thank you. And a congressman who's been a warrior, and a couple of guys that have just been unbelievable. But Rob Bresnahan, would you stand up, Rob? What a job you're doing, huh? Young, handsome, central casting. Great job. Thank you very much, Rob. Great job. And another one. These are warriors, these two guys. But the three of them. And then you have the senator, but the three of them. Ryan McKenzie. Ryan, thank you. And it's hard for me to explain how hard they work, but they were working so hard getting that big, beautiful bill. I call it the great, big, beautiful bill passed. You know, that was supposed to be in 17 bills. And I actually said it because I'm not that experienced. I haven't been doing it that long, believe it or not. I haven't been doing this. I had one man, he was a congressman, and we had a big meeting, and he was telling us all how to do something. And I said, I disagree with that. He said, sir, I've had 22 races and I've won 20 of them. I know what I'm doing. And I said, sir, I've had 3 races and I've won all 3 of them. And mine was for president. And he said, all right, you got me on that. He's actually a good man. He got a little carried away one day. But that's because these guys wanted to do it my way, too. So we had 17 bills prepared, Dan Muser, right? Stand up, Dan. What a great guy. Stand up, Mrs. Muser. Dan is he's a very powerful congressman, but he's a great person, great man. All 3 of these guys, they're warriors, and your senators, very few people that I've ever met that would take that risk. It was a risk. You know, it takes guts to run for public office, right? It takes guts. A lot of guys talk, including me. I talked about this for a long time before I did it. It takes courage to run for any public office because, you can be very embarrassed. You can ruin your life. Look at me. I got impeached. I got indicted. I was never going to be impeached, indicted. I get indicted like 87 times with these stupid. See, they should have indicted me once. They would have had a better chance. With all of the I used to get up. It was very important. I'd get up and say, here we go again. Ladies and gentlemen, I got indicted again. And nobody believed the whole thing. And then I'd explain it, and it turned out to be a hoax. It was a total hoax. They're very, very bad, very, very bad people. But Dan Muser has been a great congressman. He was thinking about running for governor. I think you would have won if you ran, but in a selfish way, I like you in Washington even better. So I want to thank you very much. Great job. Thank you. That's even more important. Thank you. Thank you very much. And thanks as well to Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, and Secretary of Energy, Chris Wright. You guys have been great. Thank you. I introduced them, but I want to introduce because they have been so good. A major factor that fueled inflation under Biden was the invasion of 25 million people. Think of this. 25 million people came into our country totally unchecked and unvetted, mostly across our southern border. 10 months ago, we inherited the worst border in the history of the world, and now we have the strongest border in the history of our country. We've never had a border this strong. And people don't talk about it. You notice they don't talk about it. When I was running, it was the biggest thing. And before I was running, that's all they talked about, the border, the border, the border. And now I fixed it. Nobody wants to talk about it. Even my people. They say, sir, don't put it in your speech. Why? Because nobody cares about the border. You fixed it. No, but you know how bad that is? Because they forget what you did. We had a border that was so bad. Everybody, criminals, everybody pouring into our country. Anybody. You know, the Congo, I just settled that war. The Congo, their entire prison population was set into our country. Venezuela, their entire prison population was dumped into our country. And now we have the tightest border we've ever had. We have one of the strongest borders anywhere in the world. I would say there's one country that has probably a stronger border. You know what that is? You know what that is? North Korea. North Korea, I think, has a stronger border. But other than North Korea has 7 walls of wire, and each of them has 1 million volts of electricity going through it. So if you get over one, you're dead for the next one. If you get over one, you're in very bad shape. If you get over 2, you've set a record. So I don't know, Scott, I think we give North Korea the safest border. Don't you agree? You know, but ours is pretty safe. And I want to thank Pete Hegseth and the military for helping us. And again, for 7 months in a row, we've had 0 illegal aliens that have been admitted to the United States. And nobody. Do you remember when Biden said, I need legislation to do that? And I said, no, all you need is a new president. I didn't get legislation. Scott, did I get legislation? I said, close the freaking border right now. And they did it. Because our Border Patrol is incredible. ICE is incredible. That ICE, poor ICE, they take a lot of abuse, but they're the toughest people. And again, Washington, D.C. now is, we had the tragedy, which was a terrorism tragedy, but we have Washington, D.C., the safest it's been in 52 years. Think of that. And a year ago, you couldn't walk down a street in Washington, our nation's capital, and now restaurants are booming, restaurants are opening. The restaurants were all closing, now the restaurants are opening. You can't get into a restaurant in Washington, D.C. Biden and the radical left Democrats turned Pennsylvania into a dumping ground for hundreds of thousands of migrants from the most dysfunctional places on earth, like Somalia, and gave them billions and billions of your taxpayer dollar. But we didn't really give it. It was stolen. And those people should go to jail. Jail. And if they don't go to jail, Scott Bessent is toast. He's toast. I'll tell you, that could be the easiest case. I think it's too easy for you. Just give it to your assistants. They can do that case. These people are crooks. They don't work. 91% unemployment, okay? It's a scam, and it's headed up by the crooked congresswoman. Whatever happened to her brother, by the way? Is he still around? Where is he? Yeah, he went low. He went low. He's not happy. Would you look into him too, Scott? Would you find out the brother, please? She said, "How dare you say that about me? It's discrimination." Let me tell you, black people love Trump. I got the biggest vote. I got the biggest vote with black people. They know a scam better than anybody. They know what it is to be scammed. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. We did great. Thank you. I like this guy. Thank you. We got a tremendous black vote. We got a tremendous Hispanic vote. We got a tremendous, because we speak the truth. They get it. Everybody gets it. Everybody, pretty much everybody gets it. And they know we're the real deal. Our country's become so strong in such a 10 months. Think of it. It's not even a year. It's like, if we keep going like this, I don't know if we can do that. But if we keep going like this, there'll be nothing ever in history like it. Already, they are saying better than Lincoln, better than Washington, better than anybody. The best 10 months ever in the history of the presidency. And for the first time in 50 years, we now have reverse migration, which means more jobs, better wages, and higher income for American citizens, not for illegal aliens. And you know what? We all have a heart. We want to take care of people. But these people are getting killed on the walk up. They're dying. They're dying. They have to go through jungles. We don't realize this. They are going through areas that are not, it's not possible to get through some of the areas. They're going through jungles down in the Central America, South America, some of these areas with snakes, with crocodiles and alligators. They're getting just eaten, and they're getting beat up by some of the bad people. Women are being raped. Remember when I started, I said we're going to stop the raping of women in those caravans, a name conceived of by me, because it's a caravan, thousands of people, 10, 15, 20,000 people coming up. The women in those caravans are being raped in unprecedented numbers by other people in the caravans. By them not coming, they're not even trying to come now because they know they can't get through. We're doing a tremendous service because they're not being killed and they're not being raped and they're not just staying back in their country where they've been. And they've been taken care of. I've also announced a permanent pause on third world migration, including from hellholes like Afghanistan, Haiti, Somalia, and many other countries. I didn't say shithole, you did. Remember I said that to the senators, they came in, the Democrats. They wanted to be bipartisan. So they came in and they said, this is totally off the record. Nothing mentioned here. We want to be honest because our country was going to hell. And we had a meeting. And I said, why is it we only take people from shithole countries, right? Why can't we have some people from Norway, Sweden, just a few? Let us have a few. From Denmark, do you mind sending us a few people? Send us some nice people, do you mind? But we always take people from Somalia, places that are a disaster, right? Filthy, dirty, disgusting, ridden with crime. The only thing they're good at is going after ships. But they don't go after our ships. You know why? Because that same missile that knocks the crap out of them, that with the drug dealers from Venezuela and others. That same missile, think of it, from hundreds of miles away, we have the greatest military, we have the greatest equipment, we make the greatest equipment in the world. I bought more equipment. We rebuilt the military in the first term. Then Stupid Joe gave a lot of it to Afghanistan, but it was a lot, but relatively little. But we're still adding to it a lot. But I'll tell you what, that same seat, I'm looking at this big tough guy with the red hat on. I like that guy. But stand up, let me just see what you look like. Nobody's going to mess with him. Okay. He's central casting. Thank you very much. Very good. I see he's enjoying it. I like people that enjoy things because you got to smile about this whole thing. But that same missile system that hits the center of everyone. Remember, every boat that gets hit, we don't want to do that, but every boat that gets hit, we save 25,000 American lives. Every boat. And when you view it that way, you don't mind. But we have that same system aimed at Somalia, and if they go and want to raid our ships, and not our ships, worldwide shipping, you know, they used to go and take the ships. When one or two of them get hit, they say, we'll pass. So we've cut down drugs, 94% coming in from sea. 94, right? 94%, Muser. 94%, Muser. That's pretty good. We're trying to figure out who the hell are the other 6%. They're finding it very hard to get people to navigate those waters. The problem is nobody wants to go fishing anymore either. They don't want to get in boats. They don't want anything to do with boats. I think we've destroyed the boat market. Other than that, it's been very effective. We've cut it down 96%. Think of that. And now we're going to do land because the land is much easier and it's even more prevalent. If you don't share our values, contribute to our economy, and assimilate into our society, then we don't want you in our country. We don't want you. I mean, Ilhan Omar and the people from Somalia, they hate our country. And they think we're stupid people, which actually, when they allow that to happen, they are. That's headed by Governor Walz, one of the dumber people around. No, but but think of it. He's given not like peanuts, billions. These are people that don't work in their own country. Their own country's a failure. They have no money there. And yet they come into our country and steal tens of billions of dollars. How stupid are we to allow that to happen? They can't earn 10 cents in their country. They come over here and rob. Are we that easy? Are we that easy to allow a thing like that to happen? That's up to you. And look at what's going on in North Carolina. We have a big Senate race. We have a fantastic man, Michael Whatley, running as a Republican, head of the Republican Party. Won elections, won the presidential election for us. He's running against a governor who's a radical left lunatic. And Michael should win. I don't know. It's hard. You beat a two-term governor, but the governor didn't do a good job. But what's happening in North Carolina? Two of the most vicious murders that anyone's ever seen in Charlotte. And it's all run by the Democrats. What's going on there? The young lady from Ukraine, you saw that one where a guy from behind just cut her throat on tape. Can't even watch it. What's going on in North Carolina? You need a Republican running that, and you've got to have a Republican senator elected. If you don't, and Michael Whatley's running, he's going to be great. So we have people from North Carolina here. Otherwise, I wouldn't be wasting so many words. You know, it's a Senate race, but you agree with me, I think, Mr. Senator, right? Together, we've achieved more in less than 1 year than most other administrations have achieved in 8 years. and we're restoring law and order to our cities, backing the men and women of law enforcement. I love law enforcement. And standing with the heroes of ICE and Border Patrol. We've ended political correctness in our military. We've renamed the Department of Defense into the Department of War. I said to Pete, you know, Pete's a tough cookie, and I said to Pete, I used to do interviews with him, and all he wanted to talk about was the military. I said, this guy's great, smart guy, great education, great everything. The press gave him a hard time, real hard time, but he's really proven to be very, very good, very, very strong. Young, strong, smart. We have Raisin Cain, the great general who knocked out ISIS for us in 4 weeks. Raisin Cain, they said it was going to take, right? They said it was going to take 5 years, sir. Or, sir, it'll take 5 years. He said, sir, I can do it in 4 weeks. Did it in 3 weeks. Knocked out ISIS. He did a hell of a job in knocking out the Iran nuclear capability. We knocked out the Iran nuclear capability. Now compare that to Jimmy Carter, the Democrats. Well, he was a nice man, but he was. But we don't really want a nice man. You want to have somebody that's capable. You know, they were talking about Greg Gutfeld. He's a very good guy. Greg Gutfeld, very good. But Greg Gutfeld he didn't like me very early in his. He didn't like me. I don't know. He just didn't like me. And it was all right. But, you know, it's okay. I'll live with it. Then all of a sudden he started saying, you know, I don't like this guy, but everything he says, he gets it done. And you know, then he gone on a couple of months later and he started going like, I'm starting to like that guy better. Every damn thing he says, he gets it done. And it's all really good, common sense, tough stuff. I've never seen anything like it. Everything he says, he gets done. And then he started to really like me. And then we did an interview. It was supposed to be a 10-minute interview. It lasted for 2 hours. There was a good chemistry. And he did 5 shows, all 5 shows that week. And he got the highest ratings that anyone's ever gotten in that time slot. And he became legendary. I'm happy for him. But there was something. But he said, during the process, he said, so would I rather have a guy as president who was really a nice guy who I liked, or a guy who I can't stand that gets everything done and turns our country into a great country again? And he was smart. It was a very interesting process, but he's a great guy. He's doing really well. Totally dominates the late night. Totally dominates. So I guess those morons that they have at the other. Kimmel. What bad people? In 10 months, I ended 8 wars, including Kosovo, Serbia, Pakistan and India. They were going at it. Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia. You didn't know about that. Armenia and Azerbaijan. And I hate to say this, one named Cambodia, Thailand, and it started up today. Tomorrow I'll have to make a phone call, and I think they'll get it. Who else could say, I'm going to make a phone call and stop a war of 2 very powerful countries, Thailand and Cambodia? They're going at it again. But I'll do it. So we're making peace through strength. That's what we're doing. We've cut federal funding for any school that pushes critical race theory or transgender insanity. No more money. We banned the chemical, surgical mutilation of children. Think of this. Can you imagine if you were up here 15 years ago? We have banned the chemical mutilation of children. They'd say, this guy's crazy. We actually had to ban it. But think, can you imagine that? Or I have stopped men from playing in women's sports. They'd say, this guy's crazy. Men don't play in women's sports. Stop men. Well, that's another thing. We stopped men from playing in women's sports, and we're restoring the name of a great president, William McKinley, to Mount McKinley in beautiful Alaska. And I renamed the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America. So in conclusion, from the shipyards of Philadelphia to the steel mills of Pittsburgh, these are great places. Maybe some of you don't even realize it, you know. You get used to it a little bit too much sometimes, but these are great places. From the union halls of Scranton to the kitchen tables of millions of Pennsylvania families, we're bringing prosperity and pride surging back to this magnificent Commonwealth. We're bringing it surging back. You're hot. Our country's hot and you're hot. Together, we're repairing 4 years of disaster by the radical left Democrats in Congress and by the worst president in the history of our country. He is. I mean, it's not a question about that. He's just the worst president in the history of our country. What the damage thank you very much. The damage he's done to our country is something we can never forget. After just 10 months, our border is secure, our spirit is restored, inflation is stopped, wages are up, prices are down, our nation is strong, America is respected again, and the United States is back. All these people, right? All these all of my friends right up here. Every single, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. He looks like The Rock. You look like The Rock. Stand up. Let me see what you look like. Yeah, look at that. The Rock would be very happy with that look. Every single day of this administration, we will keep on working for the hard-working American citizens, people that love our country. We will fight, 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 and we will win, win, win. And with your help, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Pennsylvania. Thank you. We love you, Pennsylvania.
Wow, we're back. Oh my gosh. I wonder how many of you guys had never seen this before. How many of you guys had, let me leave this on so you guys can see what's going on. How many of you guys have never seen a Trump rally? This is a small one compared to what we're used to. This one might have been 5,000 or 6,000 people instead of the 30, 40, 50,000. It's indoors, it's cold. But that's a Trump rally. If you don't know, let me take you back. I don't know, October, SP texted me, and I had forgotten this. It's been so long. SP texted me, goes, you remember when we did 4 rallies in one day? Yes, we did 4 rallies. Well, actually, we broadcast 4 rallies in one day. President Trump did 4 huge rallies in one day. I don't know how he did it. We were all exhausted. We were like, oh my God, we got 2 more to go. Oh, we got 1 more to go. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning and we're still doing rallies. That's Trump in his element. If you forgot what that was like, if you have never seen it, that's what got him into office. Being out there with the people, not in some conference room with a bunch of idiot people who are reporters, none of that stuff. This is what got him into office, actually being out there with the people. And these people are psyched, they're pumped, they've stood in line for hours just to get in there. If he truly intends on doing this more in 2026, Democrats don't have a chance. I'm serious. If this is what he's going to do, along with using the Monroe Doctrine in the military, they don't have a chance. They know this. And for everybody, I just want to let you know, you're going to hear it tomorrow. You're going to hear it all day tomorrow, 24/7. I'm checking a text message. You're going to hear this all along about the Miami mayor race. Ignore it. the race down here is not Republican against Democrat, although that's how it appears. It's called a nonpartisan race. You don't have the Republicans and the Democrats. It's a nonpartisan. Number two, nobody cares. I think there are 1.3 million registered voters in Miami. 35,000 showed up. Less people voted today for the mayor than went to a Trump rally in Miami. 35,000. Number three, or fourth in regards to this, Miami is just Miami. Miami Beach is a different town. Dade County is a different, Miami-Dade County is a different government. It's like this big. It's like this big. Next thing, the mayor of Miami has no power. It's ceremonial. It's run by a city manager, which the mayor can appoint, but it's then run by the city commissioners who were elected in their neighborhoods. You're not going to hear much of this on the television tomorrow. They're not from here. And that's why if you went out tomorrow, people down here aren't going to be freaking out. They understand. We live here. We know what's going on. Nobody gives a crap about the Miami mayor. Go cut a ribbon somewhere. Nobody cares. Don't take my word for it. Watch what happens on television, and then see. The guild will wear off that lily very quickly when people realize she didn't have any power. So she can't put in any policies. Now, she can recommend policies. It's the commissioners who do it. And if she tries to, they can then bounce her. So just relax. We got a year to go. It's Christmas time. Enjoy that. Hopefully he'll do one more rally before we break for Christmas. I hope so. And if he does that, that would be amazing. But if he does more coming into New Year, that's going to be even more amazing. So I just wanted to, I'm looking at this comment here from Jay Som. I'm hearing something about Republicans lost because nobody showed up to vote. Yeah, there are 1.3 million people registered to vote in Miami. 35,000 showed up. Nobody came out. You know why? Because life is good. She can't do anything. She's not even running as a socialist. They're going to try and put it on her head, but she's not even a socialist. In fact, she ran on a platform of working with Trump. They probably aren't going to say that in the next couple of days, but you'll figure it out if after 24 hours it just disappears. She actually came out and said, I'd like to work with Donald Trump. But you don't hear that tomorrow. We saw it on the news. She got on television. Yeah, I look forward to working with President Trump and Ron DeSantis. So chill. Just chill. It's okay. Very much okay. Merry Christmas, everybody. That is what we need to be talking about. All right, so it is now 9 o'clock, so we got out of here relatively early. But if you hadn't seen a Trump rally before, now you have seen one. I haven't seen the schedule for tomorrow as of yet. Let me see if they've even posted it, because he's obviously in Pennsylvania. Did they post? Nope, they haven't posted it. So we'll see what's going on tomorrow. And we'll get some news. We'll figure out. Maybe we get a press conference tomorrow. Who knows? Let me do super chats here. Which button? Okay, I got to push this button for super chats, and then we all can have. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a lot different than you see him normally speaking. All right, Venezuela list coming out. Senators, both sides money. Yes, that's got to happen. Penny, Democrats are planning on shutting government down again. They want $1.5 trillion to fund Obamacare for the next 3 years. Nope, they're not going to get it. Shut it down. We don't care. Thornton, we ended Iraq pretty quick, right? Oh, wait. Buddy Sanders, remember when Nasty Schumer insulting Oliver North? Career a-hole. Hello, Kelly. Thank you. Sue P., you have the best shows ever, Barry. Thank you to you and all the mods. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I haven't asked SV yet how many trolls there were, but it seemed to be relatively calm, so that's good. Lupe, I finally tallied how much I have paid for rent for my apartment in 13 years, about $169,000. I could have paid off a VA mortgage by now. Wish I had known you then. Yeah, that's what happens. Speaking about I'm not going to come back to that. Tania, so jelly of rally goers, wish he'd come back to New Mexico. Buddy Sanders, where'd that go? Love the rallies, but don't trust the security that would be needed. A lot of Obamatrons are still in our government. Remember, he's president now. The rallies before were his candidate. He's got the security. Christina, Barry, I've only been on this locomotive since April, and it's the first live broadcasted rally I've ever seen. Amazing. I could listen to him all night. Christina, welcome. This is what we were doing all last year. And like I said, one day we did 4 of them in a day. Can you imagine doing 4 of these in a day? It was crazy. Cutting Edge, is this the first time a president go to do rallies for midterms? My gosh. Yep. He's going to have to do it. Michelle, I hope you're feeling better. Much. Thank you. Tim Curry, how great was this? Trump brought us. It was here for the rallies. Mega strong. It's going to pump people up. Neo, hi Barry and team. Thanks. I love watching the man at his most spectacular event, rallies. So funny, so great, so energetic. The media is going to have a field day with what he said about Ilhan Omar. And David Yeoman, let's go to get the rocket ship to Mars in 2026. Keep that feeling. Keep that feeling as you traversed the interwebs tomorrow, and understand that things. I got to show you. I was going to post this on X, and I just want to. Some people ask me, why are you so gung ho about President Trump? And I'm going to show this to people over the next week. I'll show it to you now. I've been talking about this for all the way back to the rallies. And I'm looking at the year to date. So since January 1st till now, gold is up 59%. Silver is up 106%. 106%. Essentially, you doubled your money. Why do I like President Trump? Prosperity. Prosperity. I wish all of you in 2026 prosperity. Not the crazy stuff the Democrats are talking about. Oh, everything sucks. No, go for it. Don't buy 2 or 3 cups of Starbucks coffee next week. Buy some silver. You may not be able to buy gold right now. It's $61. Buy, do you know silver, as of like tonight, is more expensive than a barrel of oil? That's where this man has taken us in less than a year and gets no credit for it. People are buying gas at $1.99 and silver. Also, tomorrow they're expecting the Fed to reduce the rates. Let me see if I can pull that up. So there's a funny super chat here. Wait a second before I do that. Carrasco says, "Can I be your intern?" But yeah, let me see what CNBC is saying about that. And there it is. First story. All right, so you all know, you're seeing it right now. Before you leave this rally, before you go away, I want you to see the breaking news. All right? We got breaking news for you right here and now. Where'd the breaking thing go? The breaking thing was here. It moves when I scroll, but it was there. The Fed decision is expected to feature a rate cut and a lot more. So now you know tomorrow they are going to lower the interest rates and a lot more. I can't even imagine what the lot more is. A lot of people ask me, Barry, why do you like CNBC? Because that's the news I want to hear. I want to see what's going on. I don't need CNN. Don't even really need Fox. Let's close with looking at this. The Fed decision to expect to feature a rate cut and a lot more. Says the Federal Reserve is poised to deliver its 3rd straight interest rate cut while simultaneously firing a warning shot about what's ahead. The rate-setting FOMC is split between members who favor cuts and some that don't. In addition to the rate decision, investors will be watching an update on the dot plot of individual officials' rate expectations and economic projections. The Federal Reserve is poised to deliver its third straight interest rates. If that's the case, it will take the Fed's key interest rate down to a range of 3.5% to 3.75%. You think you might want to be looking at making some moves in 2026? Yeah, I think you should. I think you definitely should be getting your ducks in a row and skating to where that puck is headed. Things are about to take off. Unbelievable, and people aren't paying attention. They're crying. Everything sucks. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Don't even buy into that crap. I'm going to leave you with something that I posted during this rally, and I wanted to show it to you. And it's something you can call all these panicans out with. If you truly believe, if you're sitting right here and you believe the Democrats are going to win the midterms in 2026, what would you be doing to make sure that your livelihood and your financial wherewithal are secure? Yeah, it ain't by tweeting. Put your cojones where your mouth is. Oh, it's things are dooming. I said this earlier. If you think it's going to be, the sky's falling in, then you must be digging a hole and putting your cash in. You know that today they got ready to do SpaceX. SpaceX is going to do an IPO. SpaceX, Elon's company. And it's supposed to go off at an IPO at $1.6 trillion valuation. $1.6 trillion valuation. What the media and the Democrats are doing is better than anything that, what's his name, Chris Angel or any of these magicians could ever do. They are completely gaslighting everybody about how shitty the economy is when people who are in it, wait, pinch me. Did silver just go up 106%? Did I really just see that? Yeah, it did. In a year? And now we got a $1.6 trillion IPO coming up? Yeah. And the interest rates are going down? Yeah. Oof. How do you convince people that what's happening isn't really happening? It's because X is a mirage. Look at the data, look at things that actually matter, and stop following panicans. I don't give a crap what's going on. I bet you right now, if I logged into the Candace, Kirk, Tim Pool cesspool, there's a whole bunch of people looking at that. Why? Did you watch soap operas that bad? You can watch Days of Our Lives still on? I don't even know. Anyway, I want you guys to start understanding what's going on around you. I'll try to bring you there, even if it's at 9 o'clock after 3.5 hours. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
The first Noel, the angels did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay, in a fields where they lay, keeping their sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing.